I call an episode a thingamahoo. Trying to
Yeah.
get you to catch on.
Hello and welcome to the
Episode 10.
Legends of Tabletop podcast. We got a late start tonight, but we're gonna give it the old college try and see what happens. I'm gonna kick it over to Todd. We'll get a recap and we'll jump into tonight's session.
Oh my, in the war torn and reality fractured landscape of the distant future, our heroes have been dragging along this little pack of kids on their way to the power plant on the western horizon, hoping that Ulla's old clan will take them in because the only other option is to take them into the city where their fate really is unknowable. But along the way, two things of interest happened last session. One was that the old cook from Tunnel City, Night Owl, came out thinking that you were going to Union City and hoping to catch a ride with you all, but seemed a little weird when she found out that that wasn't where you were headed, and just changed her mind, took off again. And the other weird thing that happened was the drone that came out. Trae noticed watching you guys while you were taking camp at Ulla's RV. And the drone turns out to be from Trae's clutch. It sends out a signal that he recognizes as the icon of his clutch. He goes out and responds by firing a pattern into the ground. The drone tips its wings in both directions and takes off back to the city. So it really seems like his clutch is here in this reality, and they've just made contact. Uh, oh, and then there was that nice little final scene where Ulla and Trae opened up to each other, literally, while everybody else was asleep inside the RV. They sat on the steps outside out front, and Ulla opened up her mind, giving herself a back door, of course. And Trae opened up his, giving himself a back door, of course. And she allowed him to enter and place them. Tell us exactly what was the command or the program that you placed in there, Jesse.
Um, it was so he's all right. Without giving too much background and everything into it, because I'm sure we'll get to it a little bit later,
I remember that
at
Ulla
least at some point down
stipulated
the
it,
road.
it had to be one
But
way, right?
yes, yeah, exactly. So it was so that I could receive data, but not transmit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you basically just gave like Ulla a bat signal to you or a red phone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was, if I remember correctly, Trey stipulated that it had to be one way, and Ulla put in a automatic shutdown
Yeah.
Yes,
kind of behind the scenes.
yes, yep.
Like, if necessary, she could,
Yeah, there's like a fail-safe
yeah.
switch.
Yep.
Okay, but while he was in your mind, your DNI, it's a combination of you plus your DNI system plus the millions of nanobots that your consciousness is networked to. It fucking overloaded him. His eyes actually turned white for a moment, and he sort of staggered back. He managed to complete the programming task that he had set for himself, but he's sort of dazed and confused when it's all over and stumbles
I
back
took
into
I
you.
I imagine that it was like a system lag where it took like I finished the program and it took a moment for it to put the blockers in, but I started receiving programming before like information before the filter was in, and it all just kind of rushed through.
Yeah, yeah, there was more to process than your DNI could handle.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, if nothing else, proves that, as if we didn't know, that the unit in her head is a lot more advanced than the unit in your head, and the unit in your head is already pretty advanced.
at least from
Okay.
my universe.
Yeah, well, I think she watched him like stumble back inside. At that
Yeah.
point, he was like, I'm done. Bye.
Okay. After they disengage and before he walks in, I remember Ulla just kind of smirks at him and she says, "Yeah, it's a little scary in there."
It's true.
And so Trae goes back inside, and this is where we pick up. Ulla, you're on watch shift, and this is like 3 or 4 hours. And what will you be doing? Like, if nothing happens, what are you doing?
Well, she has her full spectrum vision gear, so she's probably scanning everything, looking for, any signs of anything. She's trying to stay pretty alert and awake because she's very nervous right now.
What are you nervous about?
What is there not to be nervous about? I mean, she's just, she's sort of uncertain about Trae's clutch and what that means in her universe, right? And I mean, she's always being hunted, so.
Okay. Well, you'll be pleased to know that nothing does happen. How does has Ulla's feelings about Trae himself changed since that little interchange?
I think she has she gingerly trusts all of them to a certain degree. They have proven themselves to be mostly trustworthy. Emphasis on the mostly part. Trae, she feels like she kind of understands to a degree. They have had some similar experiences, and so while someone with a less bizarre background might be more disturbed by him, she isn't really. But she still is kind of like, he's a dangerous weapon, and so I can only trust him but so far. I'm not sure how aware she was of what he was doing specifically, because I think she controls a lot of her like the nanobots and the stuff that's like wired into her. Like, she's not actively programming it the way that he actively programs things, and it's a little bit more organic with her. And so actually I was gonna ask Trae, like, when all of that happens and it kind of goes haywire, like, does she pick up on any thoughts, feelings, memories, anything that like is in Trae's mind when all of that happens?
I don't, at least not. So I don't think so, but the reason is he is very separate from his system, right?
Mm-hmm.
It control, like, to an extent, right? Like it can control his his chemical levels and it provides him with with natural things, right? And it is connected to his overall nervous system and everything like that. But it's still just a separate computer inside his head. And I think even the company probably had put like very clear delineation, mainly so that if he happened to have been like remotely hacked, nobody could take over his body, so to speak. So I think there is that very clear delineation between system and person, at least in the physical realm. So whether or not she then, there could be a possibility of bleed over with, recorded footage that he has stored, pictures, notes, things like that, more analytical things.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, depending on, you know, how much the bleed happened back and forth between the system, you know, debuffering.
Yeah.
So
I think it's the opposite with Ulla. I think with Ulla, you got a lot of very confusing impressions like really quickly, and a lot of it was thought fragments, feelings, impressions. Also, lots of impressions like outside of her physical self because of the nanobots, right? Like, so there's like some dual information there that's really kind of confusing. But I think you probably picked up on like just how she's been on the run for a really long time now. And living outside was not like where she was comfortable. And so she's wound really, really tight. And I think you get the impression that like she does her best to kind of come across calm and to handle things well. And that's a lot of her training, but like under the surface, it's just like a continual like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Like, so you probably pick up on a lot of her, and you can tell like the hair trigger's really short, man. Like she doesn't she ethically really struggles with murder and killing and shooting and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, that's why she got out of doing what she was doing and ran away. So she doesn't like it's like this dual thing of like she hates it, but she's also feels like she has to be ready at any time to kill someone who's trying to come after her, right?
Okay, so
dual
let me pull you
conflict.
back. Let me pull you back to the present moment, Ulla. Is this? Can we say this is what you're thinking about as you sit there for hours as the sun is slowly starting to rise? Nothing has happened. Your shift is just about over. The orange sun is beginning to brighten the horizon. You do hear a few noises from the back of the RV, and then you realize it's the kids. They've woken up and they're crawling out the other end of the tent, probably urinating in the bushes, rubbing their eyes and looking around.
I mean, she will, start dealing with mourning, whatever she needs to do.
Here we go. There's a picture for you.
Yeah, she's just waiting for everyone else to get up and she'll, morning ablutions and getting food ready. I'm sure they're just dealing with rations anyway, so it's not getting ready anything so much as like handing it out.
Yeah, and they were never really well taken care of before, so these kids are pretty accustomed to having to find something to eat and preparing it yourself. They'll look around, they'll find if you've got some food around, they'll find it. They've got some rations in the whatever you've been using for, like backpacks or bags or whatever. So they're just kind of standing around watching the sunrise and, sharing food. And you can hear Nash inside. He's starting to wake up. Trae is actually sleeping more deeply than he usually does.
If I'm up and Reggie's up, I'd probably cautiously give him a shake. Hey, Trae, you it's time to get up, bud.
I think the very first thing that happens, I have the little mouser bot And at this point, it's almost like folded up into a little cube right next to me. And the red eye in the front pops up, the legs pop out, and it like goes and it like focuses on you for a moment. And then Trae opens up his eyes.
Okay,
Oh,
Trae,
man.
you're not at a disadvantage or anything. You do wish you'd had more sleep, though, because that sort of wiped you out. I think I've asked you this before, and I don't remember the answer. Do you dream?
I mean, yeah, everyone dreams, but it's
Okay,
I
so
think
you were
it's
you were just awakened abruptly, and there's a good chance that you're in the middle of a dream. Were you?
yeah. Yeah, but so I think his dreams are very analytical and procedural.
This one. I'm talking about this one. What's the last
Yes.
scene in your head or the last sound as you're shaken awake?
You know what? Honestly, with what just happened, I think it is a lot of flashes and kind of playing out the presumption of what happened and a lot of the surreal visuals that he got from Ulla. It's
Your brain is trying to process this.
Exactly. It's his subconscious like trying to put everything in chronological order and like figuring out what happened and filling in the middle aspects.
Yeah, the chronological order doesn't work because it's much more data than you know how to process per second.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and then suddenly you're opening your eyes and you're looking at Nash, and it's just morning, time to wake up. It's just a normal day, and you're like, it's a little bit anticlimactic.
Hey, you
Almost-
feeling all right,
almost
man? You look like you're a little worn out.
Think I've ever seen you sleep like that before.
Yes. Sorry. I have a lot of data to process at the moment, and I am attempting to reconfigure my system. I'm not used to going for this long of a stretch without being able to upload and clear cache.
Now, the other thing I think might be on Trae's mind is that for a little while there, you were just starting to get accustomed to this, being without a social group, being without your clutch, being out here with this, sort of random group instead of the people that you were networked to. And it was sort of changing your attitude for the last few episodes, I think. And now there's promise that your clutch is out there. Now, they recognize your signal. That's why the drone gave you an acknowledgement. But this isn't actually the reality you came from. That's
And the
got to be
symbol was
niggling
wrong,
at
right?
you a little bit.
Wasn't the symbol different too? The iconography for the clutch was not the same, right?
Oh,
Correct, yeah.
well, the icon sent to him was a single violet dagger, whereas
As
it's
opposed to
actually
six.
6 violet daggers in a circle is the clutch icon.
Yeah.
But then again, he is just one of them.
Fair. Yeah.
Is this
Then
clearing
again,
of
he's not even
cash?
sure if he ever existed in the first place. So
Is this clearing of cash? Is there anything that we can do to help you with that? Is that something you need? Some sort of a purge for yourself?
unless I were to go through and just delete data, I require a mainframe to upload to.
Well, hey, I mean, when we make it to the city, right? So say you're able to connect and you can do all that. What happens if we get like? Do you lose that if we get out of here? Like if we slip back to our own reality, is that data lost for you?
Yes.
Make sure you don't offload anything you're going to need later. Then
I try not to.
Can you do something with my pod to maybe sort of jury rig some sort of mainframe drive as part of my pod?
Let me stop you right there. You may want to say that line, and you may want to say something else. This is the first we've heard Reggie speak this morning, and first I want to tell you that you always have unusual dreams, but and often they're of like memories of Earth and time with your friends and things that make you feel good, even though you know they're not real. Kind of like wishes and hopes.
Sexual nightmares, that
Yeah.
stuff was happening too.
Well, actually, now it's more like memories of having sexual nightmares, which is subtly
shit.
different.
Dreams of sexual
Dreams of
nightmares?
dreams. Yes, dreams of sexual nightmares.
Jesus!
But this one was weird. This one was weird because you don't often dream about like the same world that you're in. Like if you're in a dream world, you don't usually dream about that dream world. You dream about memories and home Earth and stuff like that. But this dream is about this dream world. And you're not in a jar. You're your full-grown man body, but you are naked and you're alone and you're running through the orange war-torn landscape, and these fractures, those blue vortexes, they keep opening up all around you. You keep turning and another one opens. You're trying to get away from them because every time one of them opens up, Frank comes through, and you turn and run the other way, and another one, and another Frank comes through, and now you start tumbling down a hill, and there's a vortex at the bottom, and Frank comes through, and that's when you're awakened.
And I just had this. I've been having that dream. Is that what you're saying?
That's the dream that you recall upon waking.
Okay. Because I've been having dreams too, and I thought maybe it might be beneficial to have if that's beneficial for you, maybe something you can sort of use my own tech here, just maybe sort of like solve that problem.
Quite possibly. We have not yet studied the either how much power your system outputs or exactly how it generates power to begin with. So perhaps if we were able to get our hands on some storage in the city, then we could attach it to your system, and that might be viable.
There's some excited shouting from around the back of the RV. Dane caught a rat. Dane caught a rat. And he's threatening the smaller kids with it just because it's kind of fun. Got a rat dangling from its tail.
We've got a child who's weaponizing a rat. So maybe we should see if we can A, maybe utilize this new rat technology, or B, maybe stop this behavior.
Yeah, Jack will wander outside because he also wants to check in with Ulla, make sure that nothing happened.
Am I on your back? Have you donned me?
So I think like as you guys are talking, he probably wanders outside. And then the kids start screaming. Like he was getting ready to head out, and then the kids start screaming. So like while you guys finish up the conversation, he goes outside. So you're probably leaning up against the wall.
I'm leaning. My pod is leaning up against the wall, and I am leaning up against the glass of the pod. You can like use me as a mainframe. I'm just trying to like solve the problem of your whole, extra cash situation.
The infant classical pose.
Yes.
Yeah. So the kids were actually cooperating, and it worked. They're very excited. Whisper was enticed by Dane and Noah. They saw a rat, and they kind of knew roughly where it was. And so they coaxed Whisper into using her powers to call the rat out. And it worked, and Dane then grabbed it. He could grab it by the tail. Whisper is jumping up and down. She is really excited. It's baby Reggie. She wants to tell this to. I used my power. I called the rat and it came. It came right out. I'm getting better. I'm getting better, Reggie. Just like you. I can make things happen like you said.
Oh, I'm so. That's amazing, Whisper. I'm
Except
I'm
of course
so
she says
proud
it
of you.
in an adorable little child voice. Sorry.
Reggie like bumps up against the side. He wants to hug her, but he can't. He can't hug her, but he wants to. He sends a lucid dreamed hug out of his pod and in onto like a hug. He wants her to feel hug. The sensation of hug.
Yeah, beat a 4 for me.
Sure, I'd love to beat a 4. He does. He beats I rolled a 5, so plus 4, 9.
Exactly.
Oh, yes, and the hug is it's just so reassuring. She understands my full pride
That's exactly true.
to the extreme.
Reggie gets the first yes and of the night for a psychic hug. This is a beautiful game.
I want you to receive this psychic hug and know that I am super proud of you. You've done it. This is amazing, Whisper. All of this
really happy.
incredible work you've done. Now, maybe we stay away from rats mostly, but it's a good step. You've done it.
Well, no, it says we can eat it. Can we eat it?
I think technically, yes, we can eat rats, but I don't know whether or not it's. Maybe we should check with Ulla as to the nutritional and or viability of rats as a reliable food source in this world.
It's not super reliable because they're hard to catch. But all these kids have eaten rat before. The lizards are easier to catch, so they've eaten more lizards than rats. But
my weird fluid sustains me, so I'm far.
Well, remember, they were raised in an underground sort of survivalist town, you know.
Yeah, but my whole like concept of food has been shaken because of my weird situation.
Oh, Nash, that reminds you, you've got those roasted lizards on a stick.
Oh yeah. Hey kids, I've got some lizard to go along with that rat. Rat doesn't look big enough to feed everybody.
Oh, the kids are super happy! Yay! They love this. And Night Owl told you that it was their favorite, and she's not wrong. Yeah, these kids are really fucking happy. This is like their favorite snack food.
As they tear into that, he just goes up to Ulla and says, "So how'd last night go? Anything happen after the drone?"
She kind of, well, I was talking with Trae, and we were trying to communicate. We both have DNI, and it's helpful to be able to warn each other with danger. But I think perhaps my system may have caused him some distress.
Did you like? And he's kind of like putting his hands together. Connect? Because I mean, it's cool.
Leslie's laughing. She has a completely straight face.
I mean, I get it right now. He's like waving his hands around his head.
Yes, sort of.
That's a big step for him. I mean,
she kind of gives him like a quizzical look, like, well, it's useful, and then she turns and walks away.
Now that is a Trae ass response. I love that. Yeah, he just definitely that's perfect.
He like looks down, kind of like toes the ground, and then like looks at your back as you're walking away, and it just like takes a lizard out of the Tupperware. It just starts munching on a lizard, looking around, scanning to see if anything's out, and just yeah.
I love it. And then cut to the next scene. where the kids are making a ruckus. This time they've climbed up on top of the RV, and they found that it sounds kind of like tap dancing.
Oh, jeez.
Let's not.
They
She gets
know
them
what
down.
tap dancing is.
Yeah, the Whisper and Max are putting on a show for the other ones.
Oh, get down. We don't want to make that much racket.
Lower our profile. Let's lower our profile.
All right, come here. Let's get you down.
Let's
Nash
go
goes
on.
over and like starts.
I'm like motioning my hands while you're grabbing the children. Let's come on down.
Okay, so Max comes over and he lets Nash take him down. Whisper just walks up to the edge and steps off, and then just before she hits the ground, she slows down suddenly and touches down nicely. She has the hugest grin on her face.
Okay, that's you're moving. You're
She's looking straight at
progressing.
Reggie. Did you see me? Did you watch me? Did you see me do that?
I saw everything, and I'm gonna say I'm very impressed. How did you sort of figure that out?
I'm going to do it again. And she runs to the
Look-
ladder.
Okay, well, maybe just hold on. Maybe just talk it out first before you. Like, what? So, what did you do? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Like, what you've done is quite advanced.
I made a magnet. I made myself be like a magnet. And the ground is a magnet, and I'm a magnet, but they don't want to touch. And then it worked.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand that. This is because magnets and opposite stuff, and you try to put them. All right, I get it. That's quite interesting. Yeah, sure. I guess show me again.
She's looking around. She spreads her arms out like a diver preparing to do some sort of trick. She steps right off. It looks like she's falling, and then again, just a couple feet before she hits the ground, she slows down, and then, like the last couple inches, you can see what she's doing now. She stops the magnet thing, like just when she's just a couple inches off the ground, and then boom. She takes a bow. The other kids are laughing and clapping.
Reggie's clapping too, but you can't hear anything. There's nothing. There's no noises. That's amazing. I'm very impressed, and again, lots of pride in your progress.
She's just running around and seeking praise from everybody. She'll grab Nash and tug on his pants and, "Did you see me? Did you see me?" And then, like, almost he's like opening his mouth to say, "Yeah, I saw you," when she's already grabbing Ulla. Did you see what I did? These kids are a little bit of a handful.
So Jack looks over to Ulla again, and he's like, "I don't. This won't be a problem, right? I mean, this will be fine. You think?" And then he kind of like looks over to Reggie, like askance at Reggie.
Reggie, so I'm enamored. Reggie's enamored that she's able to do that. That she's picked up on that nuance rather quickly.
That's going to be a bit difficult to explain to almost anyone else besides us, right? You realize that?
Yeah, no, probably. I mean, Reggie put a lot of work in that.
If we bring her into the city and anybody sees her do that, she will have every corp in the city after her.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Also, though, hear me out, and I'm speaking from someone I've dedicated quite a bit of time to trying and get as inconsistent as I am, to the point of inconsistency that I've reached. The competency that she is showing right now is staggering,
Right.
without having a full grasp on what she's doing.
But Reggie,
Yeah, she's also doing it rather indiscriminately. She walked off the top.
has to stop.
She didn't know that she couldn't. She just decided she would.
All I'm saying, right, is that there is zero. She's operating right now with no inherent limit, no understanding of a limit that she should butt up against. All I've been doing the entire time that I've been aware of this phenomenon, of these abilities, I've been creating walls for myself to bang up against and falling back. She's at such a critical point. This needs to be. I don't know. I don't know. This must be what new parents feel like whenever their child shows some sort of like competency or spark or some like some ability, and it's like you want to try and help them, but you can't. But the only way to maybe help her the most is to not give her something to slam up against. She needs to continue to explore this.
Reggie, you bring
nobody
up
can
an
help her explore
interesting-
this but you, Reggie.
What?
Nobody else has any idea what this is even like. You're the only one who could possibly help her explore this.
Right, but I'm sensing a desire to maybe hide it, and I can't. We can't. I'm not going to hide it. I don't want her to hide it. My counsel is to not hide this.
Two interesting points, Reggie. One, you say that she is acting as if there are no limits. I do believe that. However, we know that there are limits, correct? The more stable an existence is, a reality is, the harder it is to affect it. However, she seems to be doing it at will.
Correct.
This leads me to believe one of two things. Either we are in a dream reality that is highly unstable, or the things that we suspect Wolfram is doing in terms of bending reality and opening up portals is affecting the stability of this reality, allowing her. And if we are to follow that as all things are equal, if she is able to bend reality in this aspect, then so should you.
So, Trae, I want to say this to you as our time together. You have been able to so accurately put into words what I am incapable of doing. Now, that was one of my concerns here, is that to this point I have felt as if it's been a lot harder. So I'm wondering if there is some sort of a thing that's happening with her that and like my influence might create some sort of boundary for her. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to tread lightly here, but I don't want to do anything that is going to sort of stop her right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I realize I've never asked this, and I'm not exactly sure I want to know the answer, but Reggie, are you actually a grown adult?
Who's to say what a grown adult is? No, that's a bullshit answer. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Reggie like hangs his head. That's a bullshit answer. Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
Reggie,
Trae's actually going to bring up the hologram video. Remember, he took the video back when we were on the cat planet of Reggie teleporting all over the place.
Didn't I already change that though? I already changed it to a little baby in a jar.
A different video. It's a different. Actually, Trae has multiple videos.
I have multiple.
I couldn't possibly. You're right. I couldn't possibly get into all of those files. You're right. I couldn't. It was.
But I'll tell you this. Yeah. I'll tell you this, Reggie. What feels real to you is this body and this jar.
Yeah.
Although you have many dreams, which are dreams of having a different body and taking place in different worlds, and memories which often feel quite real. In which these two guys corroborate. So you have way more memories than a baby could possibly have. And most of these memories involve having a man's body.
Ooh. Oh, yes. Yeah, right.
Now, here's the thing. So you believe that you were a baby in a jar. Currently, you are a baby in the jar, right? Ulla asks if you were a grown adult, and then Trae backs that up with footage that he's taken. Now, you claim that we have been together this whole time, and yet I have video of you as an adult. So what does that do?
I think
Well,
Reggie
if
probably.
you have all of these powers, couldn't you just like wish yourself into a grown body?
Mr. Reggie's kind
The
of
trouble
looking
is,
around.
it's hard to sustain stuff for long periods of time. He has to keep rolling over and over.
Yeah. I want to sort of.
Unless.
Well, go ahead.
What if? So, Reggie, you have said that it has become harder and harder for you in this
Reggie
reality.
Lucid dreams a courtroom right now, and I'm on the stand.
I mean, it was just like, what are you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So, Reggie, you said that it has become harder and harder, or at least it feels harder and harder for you in order to lucid dream as you have been here, where transversely it has become easier for the child to do it, as we have seen. What if the reason it is becoming harder and harder for you, because we do know that you have to concentrate in order to sustain a lucid dream. What if the reason it is becoming harder for you is because you, as the baby in the jar form, is actually a prolonged sustained lucid dream that you are finding harder and harder to control, and therefore you have to put more emphasis on it? What if you are keeping yourself in this form?
Okay, that was a lot to unpack, but I think what Ulla heard, and probably Nash too, is that you just said this whole world is just a dream. You just said,
Oh no,
very seriously,
no,
what if
Reggie,
this whole world is just a dream?
Look,
that's not what Ulla took from it. Ulla took from it that Reggie is dreaming himself into this form, or
yes,
psychically.
Reggie,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Psychically
Reggie
using powers.
turned himself from an adult into a baby in a jar, and is
then he did
keeping
this
and
to
is
himself.
lucid dreaming himself in this form,
Uh-huh.
and trying to sustain that is taking more of his mental ability, which is why he's finding it harder to lucid dream as it goes on, because
Okay.
it's taking up more RAM, basically. If we
Yeah,
were
so I
looking
see
at
what
it
you're
from
saying
Trae's
now.
perspective. Yeah.
That's not a terrible theory.
Are we going to do this again? I mean, fuck. Reg, he and he like points at the baby, is a man. Trae has a video. I mean, I don't know how this happened. I don't know. He can affect things. Like Trae said, like if the world, this is your world, right? We've been to numerous worlds, and some of them are, they're called dream worlds in our space, and he has the ability, much like Whisper apparently has, to affect the reality that surrounds us in those places. But if this is a dream, I mean, I guess that's one thing. If Wolfram is somehow impacted the stability, like Trae said, like either one of those things is a problem. I mean, it's not so much of a problem. It's a dream world, because then that's this pocket. This is a collective dream state of someone, a group of people. Maybe this is just the apocalyptic nightmare of our time, the just what people feel, and all the things that have happened, and all the strife and everything. That this could be a manifestation of that. but he's not. I mean, he is, but he's like, he puts his hands over his head. He's a big dude, big, he's like holding the thing out for his beard. He's like, I don't know what this is. I mean, Trae's right. If we take Whisper back, and she just like indiscriminately like flips over a car. Hey, stop doing that! You guys, leave it. Shit.
Yeah, Noah was
they're
picking
gonna
on
grab
Max
her.
again. Noah had dared Max to have a face slapping contest. 'Cause he's like a year and a half older than that kid.
God, don't just stop it.
Now Max
Like,
is crying.
Ulla's gonna organize them to look for, like, scrounge for anything edible. Basically, there's some root vegetables.
Yeah, you have been training them to scavenge, to look for water and food. So that's something they've been doing lately. They can...
Let's walk and talk, shall we? And we can scavenge along the way.
All right. There's got to be a word we have for it. The finding game. Let's do the finding game.
Yes.
Are you like leading them off or sending them off?
No, I presume that we're all starting to head in the direction that we've been heading in. And as we go, she's going to have them looking to kind of keep them preoccupied along the way.
So
And
we
then,
are continuing west toward the power plant?
I think so. That was the plan, I believe.
All right, everybody grab your shit because here we go.
All right. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just like, as we're walking and talking, continuing the conversation, he says, Reg, I mean, she's a child, right? I mean, they captured Frank, right? I mean, the power that Frank had to affect what was presumably our Earth.
Right now. It's funny he should mention Frank right now, today.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Because, they fucking snatched him. They put him in the blue goo. I mean, like, he was, I mean, no offense, man, but I think he could have bested you maybe, I mean, on your best day, you get him. I mean, I believe in you.
All this stuff that you're saying and Trae and I don't really know. I don't know I'm gonna, in all honesty to you, my best friend, my brother, I don't think I quite understand anything about any of this. So I remember what I was trying to do when everything kind of went haywire. But then I know that I wasn't able to do it, and then what happened was this, and I don't know how I got this way. I tried to play it off. I tried to go along with the idea that everything that was happening was as I remembered it. I mean, fuck. I changed. I don't even know what I was thinking. I changed some of Trae's videos. I knew he had more. I'm an idiot. Nash. I don't know what I don't know what's happening, and I don't know how to get out of it. But when I see Whisper, I'll see what I see what's possible for someone who can start from the beginning and know exactly what's possible and can do it herself without anyone telling her what she is or isn't. I really don't know if there's anything more to it than that. I think I have failed. I think I am here in this position because I have failed.
Like he stops and like spins the fucking the jar around so we're face to like he would be grabbing your head, right? He puts a hand.
You
on either
can't
side
see
of the jar.
tears because I'm in a fluid.
Yeah, that's true.
And he says, "Look, man, you're no failure. The bullshit. Fucking Reggie Aloysius Carlisle, man. Like you and
Who's
me.
that?
Like
I'm just kidding. Sorry. Sorry.
no, I don't know what happened either. Everything was going to shit. I mean, worlds are falling apart. But this is not your fault. I mean, we'll figure it out. I mean, if you can help her to be who she can be, that's great. I mean, maybe there's something that she can do that helps this world with the ability that she has that you guys share. But man, you can't blame yourself. I mean, there's all sorts of fucked up shit that was happening. I mean, this isn't on you.
Right, but I don't. What I'm now fearful for the most is exactly what you said for her, where they would take her and then she gets the frank treatment. And what I am probably more fearful of is that stopping her from exploring more is a worse fate because of the impact she can have if she's allowed to progress uninhibited.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
we have already had the discussion where I think as a group we agree it's not a good idea to take these kids to the city. So this just really underscores that. I mean, Whisper in particular should not be taken to the city. So you're probably doing the best that you can right now by, and hopefully Keck and the clan will take them in. Because otherwise, I think Reggie's right. There's no way you can bring this kid to the city. She at least has to stay out here.
Well, Ulla, seeing what you've seen, knowing your people, what would you imagine their reaction would be to someone like Whisper? And I guess to a lesser extent, myself.
Now, there are already 3 little kids that do live with that clan. So they'd have some friends.
Can they summon rats and manipulate magnetic fields?
Oh, no.
Ulla, when Reggie asked that, she's a very sad smile. Reggie, I wish I could tell you something good. She would likely be auctioned off to the highest bidder. Which corporation would get a hold of her would be it could be a bloody war between them.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about your people that we're heading to?
No, I'm talking about the city.
Okay. So then I'm sorry.
And she kind of laughed. She's like, I forget. Right.
No,
Yeah,
it's okay. I'm not a very good communicator. I'm asking specifically about your people that we are bringing these children to now.
Well, here's what I will tell you. They are not my people. I come from the city, and I'm as much of an outsider as you are. They merely tolerated me for a few months because I was useful until I wasn't.
Reggie kind of like orients himself to kind of look back at Trae and Nash and just there's no there's no way I'm okay with leaving her anywhere.
Let me give Ulla a brains roll here.
Brains rolls.
Okay.
Your highest.
I don't even have any dice out. You can tell I was unprepared. Let's see. The sound of me digging through a bunch of metal dice. All right. Brains. Okay. I got a 6.
We got a 6 in there? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you know that there are 3 kids already with Keck at that camp in that group. You know their names, Jake, Golly, and Cha-Cha. They're 11, 8, and 5. They were found by Drill. They live with Keck. You also know that the couple, Elias and Tricka, are pregnant, and they will have their kid like probably in the next month or 2.
Well,
And then
I
finally,
mean,
one more important piece, that Keck's second in command, who we didn't really talk to much, because she's a little weird and a little standoffish, but her name is Beneficent. She's the healer. She's nano enhanced, and oh yeah, she believes in magic.
so I mean, taking that into consideration, I mean, Ulla doesn't have a problem with the other children staying, and she doesn't think that there's going to be an issue. Like, she thinks that the other kids would probably be welcomed. I mean, it's a bit of a pain in the ass because it's a bunch of children, but they're pretty self-sufficient, and she's teaching them as they go. But she still doesn't feel like terribly comfortable with Whisper, just because she has a whole... she's like, they could never protect Whisper from the corporations. Like, the
Right.
corporations could get wind of her at any point in time, and if they do, they're going to come after her, and those people are not going to be capable of protecting her.
That's true.
So, yeah, Ulla's like, I think she'll be... the rest of the kids will be fine with them. The problem is, as soon as the corporations become aware of what Whisper can do, they'll stop at nothing, just like they stop at nothing to get to me.
Right. I mean, that settles it for me as far as Whisper's concerned.
The kid stays in the picture.
Yes. Reggie just says yes.
To a disembodied voice.
Yep.
It happens all the time.
That's long been an established thing that I talk to Tod in character. And
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
one of the voices that Reggie hears in his head sometimes.
I mean, it doesn't make things easier, but yeah, I mean, I'm on board. I mean, we can't. I don't want to put her in harm's way. I mean, we took her from her home, such as it was. I mean, the responsibility is on us now.
And I cannot stress enough how much they would use her and for their own ends, which I can't even begin. I don't know.
Understood. It's the same. It's the same where we come from.
So I guess we press on. The kids have found some edible roots and a couple small lizards, and they're getting pretty good at scavenging as you move through the wasteland. A few hours go by. It's a pretty nice day, actually, and then who is out in front? Nash, you're out in front. You get that queasy feeling. You know what this is. There's a vortex coming.
Flux storm. Do I get a sense of, like, is it in front, to the side, to left, right? Do I get any sort of...
Let's do a psyche roll.
All right. I'm not adding anything, I'm
Do you have
assuming.
slip space dynamics?
I do not.
Okay.
Intuition.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh,
I'm on his back. Does that
7.
help?
Actually, I don't know if you can directly help, but I'll also give you a psyche roll, sort of, because you're sensing it, you're feeling it as soon as he does, almost.
And you said slip dynamics?
Yeah, psyche roll plus space dynamics.
5 plus 2, 7.
Oh, look at 7. Team 7.
Team 7.
Yeah, well, you know what? Unlikely as it is, Reggie, you've actually had this exact sensation before and can pinpoint it, which is something nobody that we've met in this reality has so far done. They describe it as a queasy feeling, almost like you're going to throw up. But you have actually been, it's funny that Nash said flux storm. You have been thrown off course in a few flux storms. And when heading toward the multiversal cow, this is the feeling you get in the middle of your stomach. It's the same feeling. This is literally a slip space phenomenon of some kind, and somehow it's connected to the multiversal cow. And you have just enough time to realize that and maybe say a few words when the vortex appears to the right and Nash quickly jumps to
There
the
it is.
left.
It's right there.
Let's see. Here we go.
Can I try to close it?
Well, here, let me share it with you, and then let me tell you something about it. Okay, so this is the vortex that I showed you last time, right? It's the same image that I used last time. But stranger still, it's literally the exact same image that you saw last time. And at the front, center, bottom of that image, just like last time, there's a canister. And brains rolls for everybody.
3 threes.
Getting all the fives.
Nash, you can add intuition.
Oh, 4 total.
6, 6, 3, 5.
Thanks.
5 is my highest.
This is very hard to notice, and Ulla is the only one who notices. Not only does the vortex look the same size, the same color, the hallway back there looks the same. The canister is there. Ulla, you notice, and not only is the canister there, it is in the exact same position, facing the exact same direction, under the exact same lighting conditions as the image in your photographic memory. This is like a repeat of the previous vortex.
So these are the nanobot swarm in the canister.
Mm-hmm. It's like a video loop. It's like the same fucking thing.
She's actually gonna run over to Whisper. And she's gonna go down on one knee and she's going to just like grab her face like gently in her hands and like have her look at her and say, Whisper, I need you to make this go away now.
Ooh.
Wow. Whisper blinks and then looks past you, understands what you're talking about, and squinches her eyes. What's everybody else doing?
Probably gun up. I don't, Reg. Do you think I would put you down? It's probably better to have you on me, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
at that moment, he was on your back because you were moving at the time, it appeared.
Yeah. So maybe I'm like half turn, so like gun up, but like sort of like halfway so you can see. You know what I mean?
Right.
Weapon raised. And Trae?
Trae is probably doing similar, dropping at least to one knee. If there's any cover in like the immediate area, kind of buckling up against that. And then weapon out, getting ready for whatever jumps out.
I think Nash would yell to the kids to like, get down, get away.
There's a short cement wall because you're passing what used to be a freeway on-ramp, so you can actually get down behind that. It's like 2.5 feet high. you can duck behind that. Reggie, what about you?
I'd be on the same mental wavelength. I'm trying to close this thing and send the canister back, like not just to get rid of this.
Okay. Now you said send the canister back.
Well, just undo what had just been done. So I mean, if that's like I want the rift closed, but I want the canister gone as well.
Okay, and one more brains roll.
Brains.
Yeah.
Everybody or just Reggie?
5 high.
Yeah. Okay. So this is an option that occurs to you. I don't know if you want to do it this way or not, because I frankly don't know which is better. But we did mention this before, so the thought occurs to you: if Whisper was the front person and the other one helped psychically,
Yeah.
you might get a +1 out of it. Or if you were the front person and she helped you, but either way, rather than the two of you both doing maybe different things at the same time.
Oh, okay. How about this? If I would try. So I don't know that I would notice that Ulla went and said that to Whisper, though. I would definitely try and help Whisper do that. But if we're separated anyway, and I didn't know, that's my first instinct is to make all that, to undo this.
I hear you. That's fair. All right. So you are rolling, and Whisper is rolling, and everybody else is just sitting there really tense, waiting to see what happens. Whisper is trying as hard as she can, but no, and her nose starts to bleed, like a lot. Reggie, what's your high roll?
I rolled a 5, lucid dreaming 4, so it's a 9 total.
That's a 9. Okay, so just like last time, you're able to push it away, and the canister remains.
God damn it! So the portal's closed? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and if this is a replay of last time, you've got like 3 seconds before that jar unscrews.
I shoot.
There's nanobots inside.
My thought would be that maybe the canister would explode, or it would short it out, or it would in some way inhibit the things, right? I mean, I guess do I get the sense that it's the same, right? Like you said Ulla was the only one that recognized it, so maybe not.
True. You don't necessarily know that it's like exactly the same. You just figure, oh no, another one of these.
Yeah.
But still, what happened
Similar,
last time was there was nanobots inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh God. I guess Ulla will. I guess she's gonna try and send her swarm over there to see if there's a way to use them to stop the timer.
That's a good
So that
idea.
it
So I'm gonna have
doesn't
you.
release.
I'm gonna have you roll in a second. So Nash is rolling to shoot. You're gonna be rolling to somehow deactivate the timing mechanism. Trae, anything?
If he hears Nash shoot, he'll shoot.
Okay, another roll to shoot, and Reggie.
I would like to basically disarm the canister. I want to disarm it so it doesn't go off. Wait.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Todd, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking at my sheet, and I'm looking at a -1 grace, -1 might. Is that still hold true? Have we rested, healed enough over the course of time that we have, or no?
The Neg-1 Grace was like 3 days ago when you were shot by the drone. The other point of harm. When did the other point of harm come?
It might have been at the fight in the tunnel, perhaps. I don't remember. I don't know where else it
you've
could have
never
happened.
really slept 8 full hours in the last 4 days. I'm sorry, I think you're still wounded.
No, that's fine.
Because
I just wanted to double
you
check.
just keep on moving and hustling and moving and hustling. It doesn't have a chance to heal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Fair enough. It doesn't matter.
You needed a 4. Anybody who's firing a gun needs a 4. Needs to be
I got
4.
an 8.
7.
Yeah, so you both hit it, and you're both at kind of the same angle, and so you both knock it back into the distance. It does not open, and now the other two. I think Ulla is sending the nanobots. That is a psyche roll for you, and Reggie, you are trying to disable the
I want to just
timer.
make it inert. Turn it into a paperweight.
Okay, so both of you make those rolls. For Reggie, it's lucid dreaming.
Yeah, I
And
did.
it's beat a 7.
Well, I got a My Little Pony 6 plus 4, 10.
All right. So, and Ulla?
I rolled a 5 and psyche.
Okay. So this all happens really fast. Blam, blam, the canister goes flying off just as Ulla's little nanobot cloud is moving toward it. What happens is they quickly correct and go follow it in the distance in the direction that it went. And it went, 10 or 15 meters off to one side. So the nanobot cloud just sort of turns abruptly and goes and follows it. Meanwhile, it stops beeping and the little light stops flashing because Reggie has succeeded. And, Reg, tell me something good.
Okay, how's this? And I opened the portal back up and sent the canister back through. Or maybe that's not the best because maybe we want these nanobots, right? Yes, and I
That
preserve
sounds
the
like another
viability
action. I'm
of
sorry.
the
That's a little too
nanobots.
big. Sorry?
The nanobots are still usable.
The ones inside?
Yeah, but the maybe they've got no target.
Yeah, all you disabled was the timer opener mechanism.
Yeah. So now
Mhm.
our the tech peoples can get in there and work their tech magics.
Yeah, so now
Guys, we
you
just
got
kicked the shit out of that canister. Can I just say?
you just got a handful of nanobots to do with as you please.
Boss fight. That was we nailed it. Yeah, I want those nanobots usable.
All right, who's picking up the canister?
I think Nash yells, "Are we clear? Are we clear?"
I don't see anything else.
I think we did it.
Ulla slowly walks towards it.
It's still smoking a little bit from the bullets that hit it.
I'm trailing and covering you.
What kind of information am I getting from the nanobots about it?
Well, the timing mechanism has been completely disabled. It's like the wires inside have like just sort of disappeared or something. It's just stopped working. So it's sealed shut. There is the way that it works is on the interior layer of this. There's a set of nanobots that have been programmed to basically fuse together and hold back all of the other ones, which are smarter and more programmable.
Okay.
Yeah, you got any more room in there?
She laughs a little hysterically at that.
You ever seen that scene in Stand By Me with the pie eating contest?
She's like, She kind of like, she picks it up and she's like, all right, so, and she kind of like hands it to Trae. Perhaps we can program this and turn it into something usable.
This is
Yes,
tech
I
you've never
do.
seen, Trey. In the world you guys come from, the nanobots are not this advanced.
No. This would be very interesting to study and perhaps use to our advantage. I think it is definitely a good resource to look into.
Is it safe to carry this thing with us?
I believe that Ulla and Reggie have at least temporarily disabled it. I can go into it and actually, hopefully, create a more sustained enclosure.
Can I just hear me out for just a moment? I realize this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but I mean, I'm talking to a baby, so it'll be fine. This has happened twice now. They're able to target us for somehow. They're targeting us and trying to use a nanoswarm. It didn't work last time because of what I did, which was highly unusual, and I maybe shouldn't have survived that.
It was pretty badass.
Thank you. Still not sure it was a good idea, but it's done. So the question is, this looked exactly the same, as though they just literally, it was a loop in time. Like it was recreated in that moment. That I have a memory exactly of how it looked, and it looked exactly the same. So what the
The
fuck
lighting,
are they
the
doing?
shadows, everything.
Oh.
Well, if Wolfram's fucking with the slip space, like, Reg, this is more your department.
Well, I was going to say, do you think maybe they fucks up? And maybe like they're in some sort of, maybe they did something fucked up. Remember how that's kind of how the Frank situation happened.
They did. Okay, so brains roll for all the men here.
But we can't be in a loop though. I mean, we have the kids now. Like our whole situation's different.
That's not.
Yes,
that could
and
be a
if
no-go for me, too.
if this were back in their time and it was simply a loop of the cycle, then the portal would have opened up in the same location that it did before.
Right,
so
I mean,
somebody or something has redirected it to this location.
It's a loop attached to us.
That seems true. I got a 5. Who's the highest one here?
I got a 4.
Okay, so I guess it's Trae who has the realization. Now, there's more than one way for this repetition thing to have occurred. Because if you're dealing with slip space, it's not only about time, but it's also about lateral slips. You don't know, frankly, how far you drifted laterally into an alternate Earth's timeline. So you really could be on any. You could be in the future of any world, not necessarily your own.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in the future of a world that springs from a whole different prime Earth, or one that sprang off the original prime Earth. In other words, all this is starting to sound a lot more like, as you know it, slip space dynamics. And as Reggie felt it when he got the tingling sensation a little bit earlier. So here's the thought that hits you, Trae. So far in this reality, there seems to be like an analog for most things. Most companies are like exactly the same name and everything. Every once in a while, there's one that didn't happen. Something else happened instead. Like Diaspora didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality fractures did, and the reality fractures seem to be tied to Wolfram.
Mm-hmm.
So if Diaspora didn't happen, that means dream realities, slip space travel, the ships you guys used to fly in, none of that happened. This happened instead.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody
Todd,
invented a way to break reality instead of diaspora inventing a way to slip through reality.
Todd, what do I know about what Wolfram was doing?
Wolfram actually began as a medical technology company. Their original work was mostly in cybernetics. But as time went by and they made huge amounts of money, they did a whole lot of R&D and started branching out. So these days, they've got the most advanced nanotech available, the most advanced DNI available. Basically, any medical technology fused with AI or advanced automated systems, they're the brand for it. And of course, as you know well, they also have secret projects that nobody else knows about.
So,
Now, as you tell this story, Nash and Trae, and I guess Reggie too, but more the guys who dealt with the city folk, they they know who Wolfram is, but in the reality they come from, it's not one of the top 10 most powerful companies in the city. It's
so I think Ulla will try to explain like what Wolfram does if Trae brings that up, but I'm not sure if Trae brings up his thought process.
Yeah, and Reg, do you tell us that the feeling that you got, right? Like we know it, but you haven't said anything. So I'm just wondering if that's something that you share or you don't share.
I would if I wasn't all of a sudden aware that Whisper is like is she out or is she okay, Todd? Because she was bleeding bad, right?
she's bleeding a lot. There's blood running all down the front of her shirt, but she seems to be okay. She's like holding her hands and to her nose and then looking at them and then looking at you, and her mouth is open like she doesn't really know what to think. She's not in pain.
All right, so I'll turn. Nash, hey, put a pin in this. Did you feel that before that thing opened up? Did you feel the
Yeah.
slip thing?
I felt queasy.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, you
all
felt it
fucking
too.
like.
Okay, put a pin in that, and then he turns and tries to walk, then doesn't walk.
Nash, take me over there.
Can you just whisper? Whisper first. Whisper first.
Oh,
Ulla
shit.
will get a cloth and like wipe
Yeah.
her face off and like tell her to hold her nose until it stops bleeding.
Put your nose back and then put pressure. Yep, you got it. It looks good. Everything looks okay. We're doing good work. And
Whisper herself is not actually too scared by this, and because you've like reassured her that she's okay, but she is like questioning, like, why did that happen, Reggie?
what was it? Explain. You use your words and tell me what you felt.
I was just doing the thing with my head where I tighten it up and think of what I want to happen, and I don't know if it worked or not, but I was just thinking as hard as I could, and then it stopped, and it was over. And then when I opened my eyes and I looked down, I got blood, Reggie. I got blood.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good lesson for you. Is how much of a toll this could take on you. The larger that's how much of a physical toll this can take on you. The harder things you try to do. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, it makes sense to me, but you're talking to a 5-year-old.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, let me redirect. So, when you try to do something super duper hard, it's going to affect you physically. Like your nose is bleeding. Does that feel great? No, right?
It doesn't hurt.
No. Well, describe to me what it felt like when you tried to make all of that go away. Was it harder or easier than making yourself stop before you hit the ground?
It was very, very hard. It was like shock. It's like electric shock, and I'm pushing it, and it's pushing me, and I'm pushing it, and it's pushing me, and I felt my nose tingling, but it all happened so fast, and then it was gone.
This is good. You see that not everything is easy with this. Things can push
Hard.
back. Reality can push back.
Ulla kind of looks at the three of them and she's like, well, I think we've established that she's not a prodigy, which is part of what I was trying to determine when you said she could do almost anything, because she didn't realize she had limits. But in fact, she has limits just like you do.
It's the realization that there is a limit that is going to help her get to that next step of breaking through it.
I don't doubt it. I just wanted to verify that she was not like...
No, no, and I think you're correct. I'm not glad this happened, but I'm glad this happened because she needs to feel that what it feels like when the reality pushes back. And he kind of readdresses Whisper. He goes, so now you felt it. You felt it now.
Yeah, her eyes are big now. She's starting to realize what she said. Basically, what happened was she got a yes, but.
Yes, but your nose is bleeding.
Yeah.
So it's not all fun and games. It's not all rats and magnets. Is that? I'll find something.
That works.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
not all rats and magnets, Whisper.
Does
Write that down.
Trey say
She nods.
anything
She understands.
about his realization or his thought process?
I mean, we haven't really touched too much yet on what's going on exactly.
That's kind of what Ulla's trying to get at right now.
Yeah. I think part of, all right, so Trae might have had a realization. Jesse is still having difficulty finding where that fits in everything.
Well, and
So-
Trae could be processing that too, still, right? Like,
Well, yes.
like new data point. How does this fit in? Processing. So he just kind of like shuts down, right? To like figure shit out.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I will say, so after we kind of, with dealing with Whisper and everything, he will go up to Reggie. And Reggie, you are more experienced in slip dynamics. I have done a bit of studying on it, but you have a better feel for it. I have an idea that I do not know how to work out.
I love when you say that because I know that eventually something's going to come out of you that's going to break the case, as it were. So I appreciate that. But that was a flux storm, Nash, right?
I mean, that's what I yelled, but I didn't realize. Like, I just.
But like
these
the event that
things.
happens when it goes to shit, when you're trying to slip.
So like, it's an actual flux storm.
Seems like it.
What is a flex storm?
Reggie flies off on a grand explanation with all technical
Okay,
possibilities.
so let's assume you guys are
scientific-
walking like while this conversation is going
That
on.
makes
Really
sense.
Yeah.
Cover
yeah.
some ground.
You see, when you slip through the slip dynamics, there's these possibilities and algorithmic probabilities that all kind of, come together and then whoosh, and then there's like mathematical things, and then Reggie's nose starts to bleed and he falls asleep. And
Like Ulla
so
was a
basically
scientist. Like that's how she started. So she's not like
yeah,
she's not that kind of scientist, but she's able to she asked intelligent questions and is trying to follow along to the best of her ability. I mean, she's a bioengineer, so
Okay,
you know,
so
her background's
flux
a little
storms, much like real storms, are sort of chaotic, random, swirling, like four-dimensional tornadoes of chaos that emit from the multiversal cow and sometimes will sweep into the path of a slip ship while it's transversing from one reality to another. They can knock you off course and you end up in a different reality, or you end up in the multiversal cow, which is the worst of all.
So you're saying that someone is utilizing a piece of fundamental chaos to send us packages of nanobots.
I do find it very interesting that you have that you said that it was almost like a rewind or a replaying of a similar event.
Exact same in every way.
That sort of suggests to me that they have done something wrong and they're trapped in some sort of loop themselves.
Shit.
Or it could be the possibility that Wolfram, rather than developing slip space technology, has instead developed a way to harness the storms and use that as the way to transverse space.
Jesus. Well, that's just inefficient now, isn't it?
Well,
Sounds
yes, but they
dangerous.
might not know that. If slip space technology has yet to be developed in this reality, then they do not know how inefficient it is.
Well,
Okay.
that could be what caused the instability here. The fact that they're harnessing the storms in, right?
Exactly.
Well, the very first slip ship was the Ariadne, built by Zyme Diaspora, and it was called a TRAP, it was a temporal resistance amplification pod. And the most important part of the technology, arguably, was the shielding that might have saved his life, that the automated survival suit provided. But that wasn't until later, when he came back riddled with cancer and died several years later. So if Diaspora didn't discover temporal resistance and subspace dynamics, maybe Trae's right. I mean, in this reality, maybe somebody else did. But it came about a whole different way.
This could also explain the creatures that people see come through the portals. They very well could be people who have just been thrown into a storm and come out the other side, completely unprotected.
Oof.
Yes, the Night Tripper demons.
Yeah.
That's yeesh. Well, if they don't, if they don't have the slip space technology, then are we stuck here then? Right? I mean, if you could open up a portal to take us home, are we gonna come out all fucked up then?
I mean, I don't know. I
Trae.
mean, look at me. But you
beautiful.
two survived it.
Yeah, you guys came in through a vortex.
You two survived it.
In theory, you could go out through one.
Right.
True. Yeah.
Trae, if you, I realize that the nanobots are a strange technology, or different, advanced, whatever. Could you look at it and determine what they, or if both of us look at it and could determine what they were programmed to do specifically? Like, are they searching for someone in particular? Are they to kill every living thing that they find? Do they kill only things in a 30-foot radius and then go back into the box? Like, what is their actual, what were they sent to do?
I think before either of you could even attempt to answer that question, you'd want to spend hours of very careful thought and time. You don't want to do it while you're traveling in
Oh,
the
no.
post-apocalyptic wasteland with a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Uh, though advanced, or at the very least, technology that I am not used to, a robot is still a robot, no matter how small it is. I do believe that given the sufficient time and resources, that I could get into its database, and it has to have, in order to have some autonomy, it does have to have programming. So I do
So-
believe that it would be possible.
Todd, can I query my own nanobot swarm and find out what it was supposed to be doing before I took it over?
Yeah. I don't think it's psyche though, and you're not really a programmer. I think it's just a brains roll. You don't get a mod on this.
Right.
Is there a 6 in there?
2 5s.
You got 2 5s in there.
Mhm.
5. Well,
How about this, Todd?
you can sense that their purpose has changed. That as soon as they hit you and began to interface with your DNI, your system overwrote their programming. You don't know what they were originally programmed to do, and you may never be able to recover that information because you overwrote them.
Well, let me ask you this then, because Ulla's background is in the medical tech stuff. Would she know generally, like, and obviously they have secret things that they're doing, but generally speaking, what are nanobots programmed to do? Is it, internal healing? Are they like stripping paint? Like, what does someone typically program a nanobot swarm for?
They're all used for all of the above, and in this reality, even more than in your reality. But Ulla does not really come from the medical field. She was a medical experiment. They didn't really tell her the full capabilities of what she carries.
Okay, because she was a scientist. Maybe I was just mashing everything together.
She was a bioengineer. But there's so many different like nuances to all the technology that like it could just totally depend.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, even no matter what department you were in when you were working for them, there was a gap in between during which Experiment X was created and stuck in your head. So the nanotechnology department had several years to move on that you weren't even aware of. You know that when you encountered it, it was just, it really feels like kind of a fluke that you were able to intake them. You don't think it was their goal. You overwrote their goal, whatever it was.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're walking and you're walking and you're walking, and I want those. We're gonna call them. You can use brains or psyche, whatever you use to like remain aware of your surroundings. Nash, you can add intuition. Who gets the highest total?
I got a 6 high.
5 high.
And that's a +1 for intuition, yeah?
Yes, six total. Yep.
That takes us to 7. All right, so I've got a yes hand from Nash. Nash, up ahead, there is a person crouched in the bushes. They don't think you can see them. And
I'm able to get the kids. I'm able to get everybody down. Right, like I stop. Hands down. Kids get down. Finger to my lips, so that they're not able to spot us, I guess.
Very good. I'm
Please.
going to throw in an additional and while Ulla was training the kids to scavenge and forage and hunt, Nash also took the opportunity to train them some tactical hand signals.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds like something he would probably do.
Oh yeah,
Does
like
Nash
these
point-
kids are
yeah,
noisy,
right.
so you're like, look, when I go like this, you hush up and get down.
Yeah.
Does Nash point out like why and where?
So if we're doing the hand signals, right? Like he puts the fist up and then arms down, finger to his lips, shh, and then points to his eyes and points out towards the bush or whatever he's in, and then like he's down low crouch and like scuttles back to where Ulla and Trae are, and he says, "There's out that way. I don't think he sees us yet. There's somebody in that bush."
Trae's gonna send the drone and the mouser out.
Like
Friends roll
long,
from Trae?
like way out. Right, not directly out, like way out in the
Oh.
loop.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
try like so that they like the mouser goes down and around to try to get it from like the front side, and then the drone will go up and over to try to get it from the back, just as surveillance.
Gotcha.
Your
high
4.
score? Your high score is a 4.
Ooh.
You through the drone, you do see a human figure, and he looks like he appears to be alone,
Armed?
armed and crouching behind a bush. Covered in some
Get
sort
up.
of tarpaulin. Head is covered. Big round glasses and a filter breather.
Does
So do they look more like survival prep or tactical? Like, does this look like somebody who is used to being out in this area, or have they do they look more like they have been sent from the city out?
Good question. It is filthy, scavenged, mismatching tech.
Sounds good.
I would say I think Trae would be keen on this, right? Just because cyber stuff, whatever. Does it look like someone from Ulla's group?
Can't
does
tell.
Does it
It's
look
just like wearing a
familiar?
raincoat and a fisherman's hat. It's like all covered in tarpaulin.
Okay, all right.
I will whisper over to Nash, local.
Like he pauses to think about it, and then he just I can't look at Reggie because he's on my back, but I look to you two, and I say, Ulla, what do you think? Your call. If it's a local, probably, but maybe protecting a little spot. I mean, I probably not looking out for us. I wouldn't think. I mean, we don't want to hurt anybody if we don't have to.
Should I walk up and she'll kind of like carefully move forward. She's got her hand on her weapon, but she doesn't have
I'm aiming at that guy. Like
Aiming
finger
at
on the
bush.
trigger, ready to go.
Gotcha. Ulla, as you step forward, a voice says, "Not one more step," and you hear the weapon cocked. Brains roll from you, Ulla.
My finger tightens ever so slightly on the trigger.
got a 4.
It's Drill. It's your fucking friend Drill. You recognize his voice, and you get an and.
Oh, and
He recognizes you.
yeah, like he recognizes me. He should recognize me.
And that's the very next sentence out of his mouth. What, Ulla? Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Shit. He comes out of the bush and he's got his weapon down. Gives you a bear hug.
She hugs him back. Oh, she like motions to everybody. She's like, I'm with.
Here he is.
I have them. I'm with everybody else. You remember. You remember.
Wait, he's gesturing toward the kids. I don't remember this.
Well, we've had some exciting times. Yeah, things got weird. So, do you remember those tunnel people that we talked about? Do you remember the tunnel people?
I don't know anything about tunnel people.
Yeah, so and she just starts explaining what tunnel people are. She's like,
Do they have running engines down there?
oh God. They're trying to dig their way to the city, and it's become sort of a religion for them. I don't know. It's very crazy. And we were there for an uprising, and like the leader eventually kind of ended up dead. He was sort of terrible. Now they have somebody new who's in charge, but then there were these children that they were like forcing to like dig, and then, well,
Wait, you saved these children? That's what you're telling me. You took these children.
Yes, I know. Yes, I did.
Are you coming back to Keck?
I would like to see if they would be interested in adding some more young people to their crew.
I imagine we're standing like 10, 15 feet off while she's having this conversation.
Fresh, young faces, Drill. They're actually they're smart kids and they're tough. I've been teaching them.
Well, if you've been teaching them, then I don't doubt you. They look a little young to really be of any use.
That changes fast. You know how quick they grow up.
Trika, she's gonna have her kid like any day now. Well, I don't really see how Keck can say no. I think you leave a bad taste in her mouth, to be honest, but I don't think she'd say no to these kids.
I'm not gonna stay. I'm just passing through, and we couldn't leave these kiddos to their fate. We watched one of them plummet to his death, and yeah.
All right, I'll speak on your behalf. Maybe I should go ahead of y'all. Give me an hour.
All right.
We're at the side of the power plant, just below. Well, do you remember where I was talking about tapping into that converter?
Yep.
We did it, Ulla. We fucking did it. Powered the whole camp.
Amazing. Good job. Just kind of shoulder bump.
So head out in that area. Somebody will be on watch. They'll find you.
Okay.
Oh, it's good to see you again.
She gives him a hug again and then says, okay, go. I'll tell everyone we need to wait.
All right. And he nods and waves at all of you. And at Trae, he gives you the finger guns. He goes, hey, killer. Then he's gone.
Jesse, you're muted.
Yeah, he just kind of tilts his head a little bit at him, and
What do you mean?
All right, so he says give him an hour to soften Keck up a little bit.
Okay.
I guess when he leaves, then Nash just says, so how do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, any reason to believe that it's like a setup or
She just looks tired. She shakes her head. She's like, I don't fucking know, man. As far as I know, they're good people.
I mean, I don't imagine they're a threat. I mean, they just might not want us to stick around, which
They're not going to want us to stick around, but I think they might take the kids in, which is the point.
All right, that's fair. Maybe if nothing else, we could maybe she'll give us a couple days just so we can rest up a little bit. I mean,
yeah, it would be nice.
I've got an interesting question, or maybe it's interesting. So he said that they connected it. Now they've got like a nice power source. How much of a beacon is that?
Well, actually, Drill has talked about this for a long time. He and Ulla used to go out to the power source, and he scoped all around it. There's a huge power plant, and it runs on a periodic cycle, getting its energy from the geothermal sources below. And he found a place where he felt that if he brought the proper metals and had the right shielding, you could tap into it at the moment it charged, and there would be no trace, no monitor would know that you were taking that power. So his plan was to suck off a bunch of power only once a day and store it in a big battery. Sounds like he did it.
Well, that's wonderful.
Right? There's a lot that they can do with that, and it'll make a big difference.
Yeah. That's
I'd
great.
imagine the generation, the source itself probably cover most of that if they're like in the area here. Right? Like it's putting out so much power, it probably acts as a shield just unto itself.
Oh.
So if you have no other questions, you wait an hour and move on forward. It is Drill himself who whistles. Ulla, you recognize the whistle, and he joins you guys as you come walking into the camp. They've dug down beneath some large boulders and found an underground storage room, sort of an annex of the power plant itself. And so they've sort of taken it over and moved in there. Somewhere around here, Keck is starting another garden, but for the most part, they live in this sort of a living room sized underground space with storage cabinets. They've broken the floor and created a fire pit, and the whole gang is here. Now, Keck is not super happy to see you, but she's not as pissed as you thought she might be, because it seems that everybody's spirits have been raised a little bit by the fact that they actually have electric light in this place, and they have a radio playing.
Wow. She just walks over and she's like, Drill finally did it.
That boy has saved us all. You know, somewhere out here, she's sweeping her arm around. One of these suburbanites had themselves a hydroponic system. We're going to find that system and bring it back. I don't have to go outdoors. I don't have to grow underground. I can grow right here. I got power. Ulla. This is pretty amazing. Tell me the story of these kids, though. What sort of power have you been playing with?
Right. Shh, Reggie, stop.
We don't need to hear the story again, but here's the basic deal. Keck will let you guys stay here for a day or two. She's not in a terrible mood, and they've found like things out in the suburbs, like hot places that still work and stuff. So they're starting to piece together a sort of a little comfortable lives for themselves. Now they've got this big giant battery and the ability to fill it up once a day. If you don't say anything about Whisper, it sounds like Keck will take all of these kids on.
Yeah, I think Ulla kind of has a quiet conversation with Reggie and Jack and Reggie and Nash and Trae, and it's just like, so are we going to keep her with us? Is that
yes.
All right, Reggie, I'm going to let you talk to Whisper because she worships the bubble you float in.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
I'll let
Yeah.
you speak with her about that because these are her friends, and we would be taking her away from them. And also, God, we're gonna have a 5-year-old with us. Oh God,
I mean, we already have a baby.
Listen, he's not. He's a man. We've already determined he's actually a man.
It's
All right,
what you just
so
said. You're a man.
the baby is a man.
Reggie, you do also have to realize the tactical risk that she will put us at once we are in the city, and that she, even though you do not want to admit it, she will have to limit herself severely while we are in the city. Again, any sign that she has any ability at all, it will get to one of the corps, and eventually it will get to Wolfram, and they will come after her.
Right.
Here's something you remember, Reggie. Way back when you started with the first brain exercises, when you're training yourself in lucid dreaming in that dingy apartment in like Oakland or wherever the hell it was. The very first exercises that you ever did were really just about focusing and centering and like dropping your signal down. One of the exercises that you did was going out in public that way and just sort of dropping your signal down to like, I'm not here.
Right.
And you could sometimes make it work, and it seems maybe you could teach Whisper how to do that.
I do need to do that. I get the question. The question though is there time? Is there time for me to do that to a point where I feel confident? Look, I gotta give this. I have to. She needs to understand. She needs to be a part of this. I need to speak to Whisper.
Yeah, okay.
But before I do, how long are we? What are we doing? How long are we staying here?
2 nights.
If you want it.
We
Nash
could use
and
it.
I are both hurt, and we really need to sleep.
I don't think we've had a night's sleep yet.
Not a full
Not
night.
since you left the last camp, which is almost a week ago now.
Yeah, Ulla looks
Maybe all of this is just delirium. Everything that's been happening because we're all just delirious.
It doesn't help.
I need to speak to Whisper.
So the question is, are we taking her with us into the city? Is that just making her a worse target? Can we actually protect her? Are you going to take her with you if you go to another reality? If you go
You
back
guys have
to where you're
separated
from?
yourselves from everybody else, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
private conversation.
Look, I haven't thought that far ahead.
We don't even know
Are
if
you
we can get out of here.
Are you a baby adopting this child? This is my question. Because
I'm going to be honest with you. I've tried to figure out the best way to present this. I've gone with the sister. I've gone with daughter. Nothing sounds or feels right yet. Okay.
Well, okay,
Reggie, you
gotta
are a
face it.
talking baby.
You are a baby
am.
in a jar. You
I'm
think
a
compared
baby.
to a 5-year-old girl, a baby in a jar is like nothing to notice?
It's just going to go completely unnoticed. Right? If she's walking around with me, I got a bit to feeling a little unhinged about some of this. I don't know the best way. I'm feeling overprotective in a way that I have never felt before, and I don't trust anyone with her.
well, I can promise you that I want nothing but what is best for her, in the sense that I do not want her to have anything remotely close to the experience that I've already had with Wolfram. So I will do whatever I can to protect her from that. I just don't know what the right answer is, because if she's with us, yes, we can protect her, but then we are the target of people I personally get shot at on the regular. And
Yes.
she's a really tough 5-year-old, but she's still 5. So,
And I know I don't feel great about feeling this way, but it is only going to reinforce, or it's only going to be help. This is her life, whether she's ready for it or not. So
all
she
right.
has to. Her best chance, unless there's some, you know, baby, unless there's someone else like her here, which I don't even know if it's worth the risk to find out. Then I'm her best chance, which I don't feel great about that for her either. But I'm her best chance of figuring out a way to exist in this world without lighting up the beacons of the corporations that want to do to her what corporations do to people.
All right.
You can see
Here's
the
my
color
question.
rising in the little baby Reggie's face. He's so passionate about this.
Okay, so
Little
you,
bubbles in the jar.
Yeah, right. Starting to boil. I'm beating
Right.
up on myself.
you want to protect her.
I want to teach her how to protect herself.
Sure, which is how you protect her.
Yeah,
So, but she's only 5.
yeah, I think, but yep, only 5. And
She needs at least another 7 years before I would say she's going to be able to handle a lot of things that
I think, and I feel it strongly, that she does not have 7 years. She has to get there now.
So what if she hides here with them for now and you come back for her? I would not go into the city with her. I just would not.
Oh no, I don't like it. I don't like that. How long? Okay, outside of all of this, how long is it to get to the city from here?
Well, with a kid, it'll probably take 2 days. Without a kid, you could do it in 1 day.
So Nash just breaks in, right? Because this is all fairly fucked up, right? Like we're
Everything.
responsible for the
What?
kid.
What are you
but,
talking
like,
about?
Tactically, it's terrible or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says, so what are we doing, right? Like I agree with Reggie. If he can teach her to protect herself, that's going to be the best thing for her. And
We need to find out what they're doing to break reality. Because as you have said over and over again, you think perhaps what they are doing here has affected you elsewhere and has caused you all manner of problems in your realities.
I mean,
If they're harnessing these storms, then that's probably affecting the multiverse. God, I feel stupid saying that word.
But it sounded so cool.
Thanks.
so then we have 3 problems as I see it. Then Whisper. She's not a problem. Situations that we have to deal with. Whisper, trying to figure out what they've done to fuck this world up, and you, what can we do to help you? I mean, you've unconditionally helped us. I mean, we would be lost in the moment, being here. So you've been true to us, and that means that means more than you know. And we will do what we can to help you in your situation. I don't know if that means that I don't know if this ultimately leads to snatching Wolfram. We've had a similar situation to this before. It didn't work out great for me, but maybe it'll be better for you. I don't know. I mean, we may be stuck here. I mean, there's just no way to know.
The head of the program that I was a part of would be a great place to start. If I could put a bullet between her eyes, I would. But I'm not sure if that's not like secondarily important to all the rest of this. If I get the opportunity, sure. But if we can determine what they have done and somehow stop it or reverse it, I'm assuming they have some way of controlling it. And if they have some way of controlling it, then perhaps you can use that to get back to where you believe you came from.
I think one thing that probably Ulla might ask herself is, like, if I ever have any chance of getting back at Wolfram in any capacity, whether for myself or to help this whole world, could I really imagine doing it without these three guys?
I think Nash just says when Ulla finishes, I believe me, I understand the sentiment. If you kill her, does that change the situation intrinsically? I mean, or are they going to promote someone else and then still come after you?
Oh, it's definitely personal on her part, but likely, I mean, I would always be wanted, perhaps just not actively hunted. There's a certain history there.
Yeah, of that we're familiar.
Yeah, except Trae actually has fond memories of his Clash father.
Is there anything that we can do to mitigate that situation for you entirely? Or, and I don't, Reg, I mean, would you want to come with us? I don't know what happens. Reg, I mean, so we have a 24-hour window in a slip, and then reality closes behind us, and then it's as if you weren't there, right?
Yes.
Like that's our window. So if Ulla were to come with us, if you wanted to come with us, right? I mean, this it's your world, but man, it's not an inviting place. Let me just, but if you came, I don't think it would fuck the time stream up, right? Like, I mean, it wouldn't intrinsically change anything. Like, she would be forgotten here as if she never existed.
Reggie, you have a firm conviction that Ulla has always been part of the group.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the time for me to bring that up.
Stop! Again with that shit.
I think that we can zoom
character
back
growth.
and fade out on that conversation because it's going to go round and round. Yeah.
Well, I think Ulla says, she's like, sure, yeah, I have nothing here. I have nothing here.
You've got us.
I'm hunted. I'm on the run. I'm a liability to everyone who knows me. Anyone I care about potentially is going to get murdered because I exist. So, yes, sure. As long as we can figure out why things are breaking and try and fix it first before we go.
Agreed. I don't think we can get anywhere unless we do fix it.
I don't. I think we need to do the first thing to figure out what's going on for the second thing to even be possible.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're all in agreement then. And so you spend a couple days of downtime with the clan. You get 1 point of harm back. Harm heals in alphabetical order. So whichever one is the first in alphabetical order, that's where you get the harm back from. You can do that. I can hand out experience points. 2 for Nash, 1 for Trae, 3 for Reggie, 2 for Ulla. And the next couple days are just nothing but kicking back and listening to the newest hot jams on the radio transceiver. There are 2 things of interest that I want to tell you before I end the game officially. One is that, Trey, it dawns on you that the power unit, the electronic gear that they have, since they've got enough power to run all this shit, they could probably run a local hub, which means that you might be able to pick up network from the city out here if you scavenged a few parts and fucked around with it a little bit. So that's one thing that occurs to you. But that would be a do it later kind of a thing, because of course after 2 days y'all hit the road and take off. I'm gonna ask for sure's, is Whisper with you, or are you leaving her behind? And I guess I'm actually asking, is Reggie with you, or she's staying behind?
Hey, I'm gonna just be honest with you here. I don't think that's resolved at all. I don't even. I didn't think we were gonna be done talking about that.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to present a problem.
Okay, well let me put it this way. I want to give you the rest time and give you the time to heal up. And so you do spend a couple days there, and nothing bad happens, and everything's cool. So now it's the last day. It's the
Oh no!
Nah.
He just jumped right to the we're leaving, and I was like, but I haven't finished being an asshole yet.
we didn't do the thing.
You don't have to do it tonight. I'm just saying, like, we can even talk about it separately.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, because I can't. It's just you understand what I'm saying.
Well,
And Reggie was going to talk to Whisper too directly, right?
Yeah. There's whole other scenes.
That's the other thing. I don't know if that necessarily has to be done. Role played out. I'll need a but I've got.
I think just like any
both,
dialogue action, if you summarize what you say and I summarize what her position is, we can just roll it.
I think what it kind of feels though is that both Reggie and John are on somewhat of an emotional high.
I have a headache.
And after after a day or so, Reggie might kind of ride that out and level down. And I don't want to say I don't think it's necessarily unfair, but having John still riding that high while Reggie's theoretically have tapered out might influence the decision making a little bit. I think.
I'll say this.
Well, I think that we can assume that the decision making takes 2 days, but I don't think we literally need to play out 2 days.
No.
No.
I don't mind landing on like on 3 options here. There's the one that she stays, and I'm coming back for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's where the input comes in is what she's saying about that. She's been sort of consistent about not wanting to leave my side. So
there will probably be a role of some kind involved, right? You're going to
what goes hand in
charm.
hand in that. Is there anyone here, and have I taught her enough about trying to stay below the radar enough? And is there anyone here that can be trusted with that knowledge that can actually step in? Because she is 5. Like, if she accidentally does something, I don't know what that means for her here if I'm not here.
Well, so
okay, so I'm sharing a window with you now.
Can we?
Her, perfect.
So
this is Beneficent, a 46-year-old non-binary healer, nano-enhanced, and a true believer in magic. Now, they do talk about magic all the time, and it sort of makes some of the others roll their eyes a little bit. But Beneficent actually overhears you and Whisper talking. Some of the things Whisper says just sounds straight up like magical or nano enhanced powers to her. And so she's shown an interest in the child.
But would that happen before we had the conversation of, maybe we just tell her
It's
not
kind of
to use
it's
the
happening
power?
slowly and simultaneously over a 2-day period.
Well, but I think even before that, like when we're having the initial conversation, it's like, Reg, if we leave her here and come back, can you, teach her what you can in 2 days, but tell her not to use her powers, right? So like if no one knows, no one has to be trusted, right? Like if, again, she's 5, so maybe she slips up
Right.
and does it anyway. But if it's like, hey, it's really important that you don't do this while we're gone. It's not that it's wrong, but we don't want anybody to know, right? It's a secret or whatever. You know what I mean?
What was Tom? Sorry, what was her name again?
Beneficent, the healer?
Beneficent the healer. So if
Because I think that happens before she overhears
Beneficent.
anything, right? Like that's first night. This whole conversation that we were
I'm
having.
not saying your conversation was overheard. I'm just talking about the things that Whisper says and things that Reggie says, even casually. You easily get the impression they're talking about impossible stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
So
to most people who overhear it, that just sounds like silliness. But to Beneficent, it sounds like magic.
so that those 2 days, that would be 2 days of, hey, here's how you lower your profile, and then also, Reggie would feel strongly about how, like Ulla's input on Beneficent the healer. My favorite Disney villain is Maleficent, so this is hitting a tone. But I'd be interested in Ulla's input about this, because that would make it a lot easier for me to let go of the idea that she's a 5-year-old. She's going to screw up, but she's going to do something. So having someone like Beneficent there who would be able to like advocate for her, when that happens, is like it. That's the only thing that'll make that easier for me to let go.
I think Ulla would be willing to take Reggie and Beneficent and like have kind of a meeting of the minds between the 3 of them and have a conversation. And I'm sure Beneficent frames it in magical terms, and we're talking about psychic powers, but really, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how she responds to it, but how, if we are like, this child
Beneficent is also
abilities.
nano enhanced. You've seen, like, I don't know if she does it a lot or if you've seen her do it, but you probably have seen her do it. If somebody gets hurt badly and needs healing, she can emit a small golden cloud of nanobots.
Yeah.
So her quote unquote magic is healing magic.
So how does she respond when I have this conversation between the 3 of us and mention this child and say, hey, she has special abilities. She has some, I'll just call them psychic abilities. And we need someone who is understanding of that to look after her and guide her, keep her out of trouble, and keep her from being noticed by the corpse.
For now.
Because
of course she has abilities. Look, can you see the aura just beaming off of that child? It's obvious. It's totally obvious. This one needs to be taken care of.
Yeah. So, Ulla's, she kind of like nods. She's like, right, okay. And then she looks over at Reggie. She's like, look, I believe that she'll look after her, but feel free to ask her whatever questions you have.
Reggie's questions would literally be about the advocating for her, she needs to be in beneficence charge in a way that's
Beneficent has her eyes shut and hand to their head. They're saying, Are you really a baby?
Oh, it's a good thing I'm not there.
And here we are again.
It's probably a good fade to black moment as Reggie's eyes narrow,
Are you an entity? You've come. Wait, don't tell me. You're from another plane. You're not from here.
Correct.
None of you are. Well, except you, Ulla.
Correct.
But her, Beneficent is looking at Whisper now. She's from here.
Correct.
Honestly, I think this child is safer with me than she is with you.
You.
Arguably correct.
I think that's kind of. I'm not. I think that's what I'm trying to allow myself to believe.
Okay. She slapped you on the jaw and stands up.
Damn it!
I like the child. She clearly has a gift. I want to help nurture that gift. And I know that you have a bond with this child. That's why you need to let her go. You can come back anytime you want, but you three gentlemen have an energy about you that I have never felt before, and to be honest, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
That's what we're going for. Reggie would just turn to Whisper. I'm done, and just so I'm. Are you okay with this? You know what? So this is what's happening, Whisper. And I want you to understand that I am coming back for you. I promise I am coming back for you.
So, Beneficent is standing behind Whisper and sort of holding her consolingly. Whisper holds back tears, makes her eyes really, really big, and looks right into yours. And you feel her in your head. She goes, I know you will. I trust you.
Okay, and he just hugs her in his mind. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that, Todd?
How about that?
And yeah, that's what happens.
Ulla will pick up Reggie and arm around him.
Yeah, so there's you pick up Reggie and pull Reggie, and then there's a juxtaposition scene of that also pulling Reggie away from from Whisper in the brain hug thing.
And it's the last day, and everybody says their goodbyes, and there's the teary hugs and handshakes, and you all can come back anytime. She'll be fine, don't worry. And the rest of the kids are already like running around playing hunt lizards with the other kids who came from here. And so you pack up your gear, get your backpacks on, you slap your baby jar on your back, Nash, and you head out toward the city. And it's a kind of a dark day today. And so it's a little bit slower going than usual because you want to be sure that you don't get jumped. When you get that queasy feeling, you're about 15 kilometers out from the clan. You recognize that queasy, nauseous, there's a flux storm coming. And when it opens up, what you see on the other side is yourselves hitting the ground, taking cover, aiming in your own direction. And we're going to stop right there.
Well, fuck. Was it a baby Reggie in a jar, or was it?
It's baby Reggie in a jar. It's you guys as like from the view of the canister, like if the canister could see.
Oh.
You see yourselves on the other side of this tunnel.
So we're the canister.
There's no canister this time. It looks like a vortex. It looks like a vortex from this reality to this reality.
Are we the nanobots in the canister? Sorry.
More than meets the eye.
Yeah, did Trae and Ulla get to fuck around with the canister in 2 days?
I think it's going to take more work than that. You've got like nothing to work with out here.
Okay. We did it.
We did it again.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say we did it. To give everybody gets one more experience point. I'm going to call it a side quest, like deliver the children to safety. Everybody gets another point there.
Thanks. Whew. Yeah. Ulla does say, as she's walking away with Reggie, that don't worry, we'll come back for her.
Yeah. I think okay, Reggie he wouldn't really look in your direction, but just kind of say just to you just to say to you, I don't know how to thank you. I don't think I could have done that without your help in that moment. That's it. What the fuck? I gotta go to the bathroom.
I love my emo players.
Well, and I think too, like, you know, Nash would be like same thing. Like, Reg, we're making the right decision. We'll come back. You know, we're leaving her in good hands. She'll be more in danger with us. You know, like Ulla, just trying to set his mind at ease.
Right.
You know.
That would be all right, and that's why I saw the thing, and that's like that's a huge part of it as well. But like just the Ulla side of it is literally, I don't know any of these people, and you're asking me to leave this person with these people, you know, and so I needed that, or else it wasn't happening, you know. Like it was, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, there's also, you know, the nice add-on bonus that if you know the kids staying here with the clan, they're going to be aware of popular music, you know, which is important when you're a kid. So there you go.
Yeah, it was. She didn't deal with beneficent that often, but it's kind of like local psychic and scientist. They're kind of like we have nothing in common, but I don't have a problem with you. Like,
Yeah,
more
not
just
at all.
like-
I mean, it takes a certain kind of person to decide to be a healer by just, by nature. So, I mean, that alone, you never really have had any beef with Beneficent, although you never got close.
Yeah.
They're just a nice person.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that she didn't have an issue with it. It was more just like, I don't. Anyway, that was great, guys.
Very good. I think we broke John.
We did.
All right.
John
Sorry.
broke himself.
Bullshit. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
No.
No, it's whatever.
That was gold. Are you kidding? That's exactly the stuff that I aim
Well,
for.
John,
That's what
you
that's what I
also
want to see.
yeah. John, you perfectly summed up being a parent.
Yeah.
I have failed, so I want to pass on the unlimited potential.
Yeah. Welcome to my
next-
diary.
Yeah.
It's my diary according to Reggie. This is how it's been since I first started
No,
the
being-
damn character back in whatever.
Being a parent is like the Matrix, right? Like my branch has failed,
Yeah.
but I want to pass on the knowledge to the next branch so that it may succeed.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh my
Beautiful
gosh.
stuff. Beautiful stuff.
I will say that, like, over the course of several days, one thing that you notice is that Ulla kind of avoids Trae.
Yes.
Trae doesn't notice.
I know. It's like two people who are just like, one person's like purposely avoiding it and the other one is completely oblivious, and everybody else is like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
with these people.
I don't know that Jack notices either, right? Because like my focus would be on Reggie right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I mean, not to the exclusion of everybody else, but like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It would be interesting that one moment where like Nash and Trae are walking to like purposely like planning out the last thing, and then like Nash sees Ulla coming and is about to be like, "Oh hey, come join the conversation," but then you see her eyes up, and then she just goes, "Whoop."
Yeah. Yes. That is. I mean, it's going to be noticed now for sure.
There's only four of us, and there's no
there's
children.
no children
so-
buffer.
Right?
It's like
It's
yeah,
raw
it's like
psychic content now.
kids are gone. There's no buffer. Now what?
a lot of silent walking.
Right.
orbiting each other. Oh boy.
Yeah, I know, but it's just true because now that Trae is like still trying to process all this shit, he's not even going to be his usual self, where he'd be talking the whole time, like, "Oh, well, there was a network called this, and it took over this other network, you see, but there was a corporate."
Yeah. And then everything makes sense. Right.
I mean, I think per usual, like Trae will talk when prompted,
Mhm.
or if he has something significant to say, but like he's fine with silence. Like he doesn't feel like the awkwardness of nobody talking.
Well,
Right.
we are heading into the place that Trae knows better than anybody.
What's it gonna be like when he has a network to connect to?
Oh, it's gonna be
Oh no.
There'd be like an anime.
could
There'll be all these
download all
lines
the
coming
things.
up behind him. Big
Transformation
eyes, hair all
sequences for
standing up.
hours. Yeah, right. I see everything.
Power level be 9,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, out here it's been like, doing everything with sunglasses on and heavy wrist weights.
Mhm.
Well, and I think with Trae being okay with the silence, I think that sometimes part of the reason why it feels like he gets cut out of the conversations because he doesn't say anything unless someone's talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel the need to pipe up and just be like, I also think that thing. Like,
Right, yeah.
he just-
Yeah, no. What I was thinking was like, if the conversation ever turns toward the city, the corporations within it, the technology they use there, or even stuff like, news and events, then typically that's when Trae starts info dumping.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he can't swipe stuff to our phones now.
Yeah.
God, the first thing I'm doing is buying you guys phones.
We're all gonna have new phones and clothes.
We don't have any money.
True.
He'll just
I
look
guess
at-
the first thing he's going to do is have to hack a bank to get us money.
Oh my! Are you guys? Well, Trae and Nash, anyway. Are you still wearing those Scylla Sardassian T-shirts?
Probably. Right?
Yeah.
We got booted
Underneath,
from
I mean, so we got gear from the first hideout with Ulla. She gave us some hand-me-down stuff.
That's
I
true.
gave them stuff
Oh,
so
okay.
that they
Yeah.
wouldn't be wandering around the waist in like, I don't, what were
Anime
they, crop top
boots.
T-shirts? What were you in?
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they say follow
Halter
my
tops.
ass, and it
Yeah.
has an illustration of a woman's ass and the cheeks jiggle left and right.
God. Yeah,
But
no.
I mean, that's what we're wearing underneath, but we're
Yeah.
still wearing that stuff underneath the garb that Ulla gave
right.
us.
As long as Ulla doesn't have to look at it. That's why she was like, put this on.
Yeah,
Put this
gotta get
on.
it
I
on.
don't want to look
We
at that
will,
anymore.
because once we get into the city, we're actually gonna look out of place with that on.
I'm like,
So
I'm
we're gonna have
picturing the
to
scene
take-
where like you're changing, or cleaning your armor or whatever. Ulla looks over and she sees Nash's shirt and it says "Follow my ass" and the cheeks are bouncing left and right, and she mouths, "Follow my ass." And Nash goes, "Oh, that was my girlfriend."
Yeah.
Well, so hold that thought for 1 second. We had that dude's ID card, so we could probably. Well, we don't have his pin, but we could probably tap him act,
Yeah.
right?
Ray's got his pin.
I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
but we do have his essentially his alien's PDAT or whatever the fuck you
Yeah.
want to say, like his RFID sort of thing, right? I assume that's how the ID works, Todd, or no?
Yeah, the personal ID, the PID.
Yeah. So we had the potential to use that once and burn it, right? Just throw it in a trash can, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
But I
we're
don't
all
want to
thinking it. We're all thinking it. I'm just gonna say it first when we get into the city shopping episode. A lot of walking out of dressing rooms, like, hey, a lot of a lot of that.
You got to cast friends.
Yeah. A lot of brains rolls to see if we like it.
Yeah.
There you go. Is a new mechanic. We could have a shopping mechanics.
Yep. Absolutely. A lot of charm rolls.
A lot of charm rolls. Yeah.
So that you can convince, like psyche rolls to convince
Right,
the
like,
other
I don't know
person
about
that it
this hat,
actually
guys.
does look
What do
good
you
on
think?
them.
Well, I think the best way to do that in Ubiquitous City is for me to like read off we assume you spend a couple hours shopping, and I read off the brand names. It'll be the brand name that appeals to you that you'll choose to wear.
Nice. Yeah,
They
Ulla's
can't-
like, what is
they can't
least
be
noticeable? I would like to drape myself in multiple layers of cloth.
Yes.
like mask.
Well, it's been what, like 2 years, I think I said, since you've been in the city, Ulla.
Yeah.
So fashions have probably gotten like even more outrageous. But the last time you were there, it's like half of the people are walking around with projected holograms surrounding their bodies at all times.
Yeah.
It's wacky shit. Especially the young people.
Yeah.
Young people.
She'll be looking for a way disguise her. As a matter of fact, probably one of the first things that she'll do is just like cut all of her hair off.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, so that's a good thing to think about. I'm gonna bail because I got dinner waiting for me. But yeah, any strategies or I don't know, your cloak of invisibility, whatever it is that you're gonna want to use in the city, be thinking about that before we play next time, because I'm pretty sure next time we're hitting the city.
Mhm.
All right,
Cool.
y'all. I'm out of here.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Take it easy. I think I wonder. Well, Reggie doesn't have his. I wonder if it makes sense to try my own PID, right? Because I still have mine.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know how that works. Where you like lean into the ATM to scan your fucking.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I'm assuming it's like a radial thing. Like you don't have
probably,
to.
right.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it like makes sense to try to do that. I mean,
Is
if
it
it's
like
not
a
our
bank
world, then
thing? Like an account is attached to it? Is that what you're saying?
so
It's
in the,
yeah.
so it's like a universal ID chip. It's like an RFID chip. So like it ties your bank stuff, your social medias, like everything is in the chip, right? Reggie had one and cut it out of him because we were both in the service. I left mine in, but like he never
Mine's in my
thinks
brain.
about it. Yeah, his is in his brain. We don't have phones, right? Because you also have the phone would serve the same function, but like Reggie and I specifically were implanted with them. Although that may be more specifically for like military.
That was
stuff,
I
a
right?
think. Yeah. I
military
think
thing.
when we talked about it, it was a military thing. They
Yeah,
implanted
okay.
it in you.
Yeah. So our PIDs would have been our phone then.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume that I don't know. Ulla probably has something, but I don't know what it is. That's a Todd question. So
Yeah, I would think maybe, but maybe this world doesn't do that. But it seems like it would, right? Like with the level of technology, that would kind of be.
yeah, there's got to
Right.
be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys, that was intense.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
It was
Sorry.
good. It was good. I felt bad for you.
Yeah, don't apologize for having an intense RP moment.
Right.
Just put a fucking kid in front of me.
Oh,
Can't do that.
God.
Can't do that.
Yes, agreed. I was like, oh gosh, we're saving an entire like kindergarten class, aren't we?
Well, that's what he cut us
doing.
off because what I typed to you was what I was going to say to you before. It's like, oh, well,
Right.
we're done, and you guys left. It's like, no, hold on,
Yeah.
revolt
No,
here.
yeah.
No, we're not done yet. Like this is
Right.
over.
That's
I do
that's
like
what I
how
was-
even after he was like, "Okay, so it's been a couple of days and you're on your way to the city," and then both of you are still like, "No, we got stuff that we still want to say."
So
So
shit is not
we're finding
resolved.
some more.
Not resolved. Well, that's why I typed it's worth a lot, because that would be literally like, if you're doing percentages, it's like 50-50. Like, like what's Jack saying in my ear? Yeah, and that meant, everything. And then it's like, well, I need Ulla's input on this beneficent.
People.
Beneficent.
Well, you got to go with your gut, right? I mean, like we've been together long enough that
Absolutely.
I trust you implicitly, right? So, like, I get where you're coming from, and I would support that decision, but also like we wouldn't want to put her in harm's way, right? Like being with us is terrible.
It really is. We are just.
I mean, we get into a
It's the
firefight
worst.
in
Right.
Wolfram's, building or whatever. Like, it's not a good deal.
And that's the right decision. But I'm
Yeah.
weighing the lucid dreaming thing in it too, and it's like, well, there's no like, she's
Yeah.
gonna slip up. She's 5, so I think
Yeah.
I don't know if beneficent was a thing beforehand, but that was a pretty good little device to throw in there to be like, well, here's someone
We had a
who,
picture.
Yeah, so here's someone who understands that whole thing. It's like, well, okay, fine, you got me.
This is my fear, right? Because it's a role playing game and like shit has to happen. That we figure out what's going on. You know, maybe Ulla kills the doctor or whatever. But it's one of those things where it's like you've got to get in the portal now.
Right. Oh yeah. That's why I said what I said, because I know that something is gonna come up, and then I'm gonna be this again. You know, like, like well, here's your choice, and it's like, well, thanks. You know, I did it to myself.
I will say that Ulla feels she's not outwardly as expressive about it, but feels very strongly about protecting Whisper because she knows what Wolfram will do, right?
Yeah.
She has been there specifically and is like not okay with that life for her, not okay for that life for anyone. But she, you know, so she takes it very personally also.
Yep.
I mean, that
it's the same with Trae. Like he knows if you bring her into the city, she will slip up, she will show her powers, and she will become the tool of a corporation. Like it's just that's fact for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not really sure how Trae feels about that, but like maybe not specifically Whisper, but like the corporations overall. But Jack and Reggie fucking hate the corporations. Like this is an established part of the whole thing, right? So like it's immediately like you know, first reaction is like, why don't we just kill everybody? But like no, we can't actually do that.
Yeah.
So he's been with you guys for a little while, and he's kind of learning that what he isn't normal, and that there's something wrong here.
How does that
like
make you feel
with him? Yeah,
it makes me feel like
it's very clear that he got fucked up by being what he was.
Yeah.
So he's aware of this. He doesn't necessarily want to change himself or what he is, but he's aware at least that.
Maybe explore that a little bit more. Like, should I be upset? Should I be looking for the blood of my enemies? You know, like,
whereas Ulla has no problem whatsoever being like,
which I thought was so funny. I was looking for a moment to interject this, but it never came, so I didn't. But literally, I think, you know, did you watch or did you listen to the episode where Jack Nash was talking about getting rid of Cordova? Because he said exactly the same shit. And it was so funny. It was like, great. Now there's this whole, I love it. It was so funny.
That's what I had the opportunity to put a bullet between her eyes.
Yes. And you know what? Maybe we'll have a similar situation. We just like sent Nash off to talk to Cordova alone in a park somewhere. Like, what the hell was that?
Do you remember what happened when Nash had a chance to put a bullet in Cordova's head? And
he didn't do it.
I loved that.
He didn't do it.
That was good. I like that. There's so many.
I don't think Ulla would have that problem.
Let's do, yeah, exactly.
Let's do the exact opposite. Yeah.
Please give me the opportunity. We'll see how it goes.
I would love
Trae will talk you down. Oh, gosh, so
maybe
cool. Wow. What's gonna happen?
If I would love to see, so if this were, so fast forward to when that if that moment happens, right? And then I would love, if this were a TV show, I would love to see like the juxtaposition of like seeing like Ulla in her current and then flashback to Nash with Cordova, and it like goes back and forth until like Nash lowers the gun and then Ulla pulls the trigger, and it's like
you don't even see it, you just hear it. Like you see Nash lower the gun, and then you just hear the gunshot, and the episode ends.
That's magic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I think it's funny because I feel like as Trae is as broken as he is, Ulla is like somewhere between Trae and like normal. I mean, I think a lot of quotes on that one. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like you got out.
Yeah, because she didn't start that way, right? She wasn't raised as a child in that environment. It was as basically an adult that she was put into a program for failing her family and all kinds of other stuff. Anyway, so she she got put into this program, and like it was a combination of like money, guilt, family control and danger, like all these things that they used to control her so that she would do what they wanted her to do. And so she was, you know, like controlled on the outside. So as soon as she had the opportunity to get away from that, she was out.
Yeah.
So it was a little different, but yeah, she still understands it because it definitely changed her. She is not the same person at all.
Right. Because I mean, that's got that
before and after.
Knowing that somebody had that control over you,
yeah,
like breaks you a little bit. So
oh yeah.
Uh-oh. Maybe that's kind of like what Trae's heading towards.
I think so.
I think he kills this whole class.
I think Trae, and I think Ulla and Trae will be like siblings at some point. Like like their relationship is gonna get better, I think. But right now she is still super uncomfortable because this person that she literally has given access to her mind freaked out, ran away, and then didn't speak to her. Right? So she's super uncomfortable.
God.
No idea what.
It's like you tell her. It's oh shit. It's like Ulla told Trae a secret, and then he just was like, no words, just turned around and left, and then didn't talk to you for 3 days.
Yeah,
she doesn't know enough about Trae to know that that's Trae.
It's just Trae being Trae, but Ulla is just like, oh, fuck.
Oh God.
Well, I think, that's why Nash was like, wow, that's a big step, right? Like to have that sort of
positivity.
Sharing.
It's good stuff.
And now she's super uncomfortable and avoiding him.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh,
no idea
party
what.
Dynamics taking a turn today.
Well, and it's good to see that guilt is a common theme.
right.
It's my whole character concept.
Yeah.
Just guilt. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, it's why role playing so great, right?
Oh, yeah.
We can project ourselves into characters and play that out in a safe place. Sort of.
Yeah, for real. You can have the most awkward, uncomfortable interaction on the planet. And then you can go back to your regular life and be like, whoa, man, I'm doing great, y'all.
Everything's totally good.
Just look at how bad I could be doing.
Look at my DayTrippers character. Look at that.
Right?
You know, and it's funny because it's like tonight was pretty serious, right? Like, I mean, it was, you know, it was intense and emotional, and there's so much laughter because it's so intense and personal and fucked up, right? Like you have to break that tension, and it doesn't eliminate like it breaks the tension, but it doesn't take you out of the moment, right? At least not for me.
It doesn't eliminate it or negate it,
right? But it just it breaks it enough that you can keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just can't wait for Ulla and Trae's next interaction.
Yeah, me neither.
Of course, we're going to have zero time to talk. We're going to go into the city. Our lives are going to be in danger. People are going to be shooting at us. We're going to have no time to have a conversation.
You're going to find
it's going to be like the 5 minutes on the train.
Yes.
Like that's it.
Well, they're like holding the little things and the music's playing, and it's just like so.
But that's it. So like
it's the two of us standing on a train next to each other in like a crowded car.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Like we typically play at like every minute of the day in like all of the fucking games. But like to get from where we are to the city, we're like, oh well, you guys are moving a little bit slower, so maybe it takes a day. But like that whole day would, and maybe you guys wouldn't necessarily talk, but we would all be together, right? And like we're gonna skip that probably, right? Yeah. Because Nash would totally be, you know, all over Reggie, like it's fine, it's gonna be fine, don't worry, we did the right thing.
Right.
That's, you know, maybe not for the whole day, but like those things are like happening off
But it's
screen.
there. Oh no, it's absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which I think is why I made it a point of saying like Ulla is avoiding Trae and
Yes.
Jesse's like Trae's oblivious, and so you can just imagine the two of them just like
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is going to be just obvious now. I love that.
eventually, yes. Have you guys seen Bullet Train, the movie Bullet Train?
Not yet.
Is that the one
No.
with what's his name that was married to Brad Pitt?
Yeah, it's got Brad Pitt in it. Listen,
I saw that it was on Netflix, but I haven't seen it yet.
it's absurd, but like absurd in the best way. Like,
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I love the writing. Like the writing is just so funny and off the wall, and I thought it was really fun. I don't know if you'll like it, but I thought it was really fun.
Yeah. No, I like stuff like that. I like Brad Pitt too.
Yeah, he's great. He's really.
He's a
really
piece
great.
of shit though, right?
Yeah, he's just good at that.
Good
But that's
actor,
like,
but
I don't care. Yeah, I like his acting.
They all are.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone kind
I mean-
of is. Yeah.
Neo's not. What's his name? Canoe.
Canoe.
Yeah,
Canoe.
Keanu.
I
Yeah.
guess
He's
so.
he's
You
a
believe
good
the
guy.
tales. Yeah.
Everything
That
I've
is
ever
true.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we all have, I try to, who knows, but anyway, it's really funny, and we were talking about being on a train, so it made me think about it. You guys should definitely go watch it just for the dialogue and their like the
Yeah.
funny moments. Oh my god.
Mhm.
I plan to, just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah,
I
they did
feel like
look like
this
it was right up my
crew
alley.
would 100% be on that train.
Perfect. that's what we're going for.
Oh my god.
Fuck, man.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
The hell of a way to start off the new year.
Yay.
Right?
Thank you. So I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
It's fine.
I didn't want to start pinging you on all the social media things.
I
was
need
like,
to
she
just
fell
give
asleep.
all of I need to give all of you guys my phone number, and if I am like, I'll be there, and then I don't show up, just call my ass. Just assume that I have like, no.
You know, I think
We
what
have
Which
somebody
was
that
like, yes,
falls
maybe
asleep
she fell
sometimes.
asleep. I was like, you know what? Good.
Which
You know,
could
like have a nice nap. We all want a nap. We're happy for you. You know,
I
Don't
actually
wake
had
her
a
up.
nap today. I had a nap today, so I wouldn't be tired.
It
I
worked
worked
in the
today.
opposite. You ended up becoming hyper focused.
yes. Yeah.
God, it was ridiculous. As soon as like I picked up my phone from the charger and opened it up and I saw the message, I was like,
And then I didn't see your message because Todd was showing us some rule stuff that he was working on.
yeah.
So he was sharing a screen. So I had the window for the video
Oh.
completely maxed open. So
Oh.
I didn't see it until your
Gotcha.
message popped up in a private chat. And I was like, ah, fuck.
Yeah, I sat there for a minute and I was like, he doesn't know I'm there. I know he doesn't know I'm there. How do I get him to know that I'm here?
That's my, because I closed it once or twice just to check to see.
Yeah.
And then, it was like, 7:35. And I'm like, oh, she's fucking sleeping. She was up late yesterday. It was New Year's. She's sleeping. And then I saw the message. I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
You guys, I had the weird, like, I had a fun New Year's, but it got a little wild. It wasn't me. I was just a bystander, but it's around me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm in this situation. I'm not participating, but I'm in it.
I'm here, and crazy things are
I'm
happening.
here.
It's
here
not
for
my
it.
fault.
I had that. There was back a while ago. Like once a month, me and a group of people used to go to a club down in Providence. It was like $5 cover on a Wednesday night,
Yeah.
right? And so we go down. It was called Club Hell. It's since closed.
As one does.
Yes,
But
it is very close.
Wednesdays were also I can't remember the exact name of it, but basically you were required to wear all black.
It was goth night.
Right? It was no.
Every
'cause
night's goth night at
there
Club
was-
Hell.
There was a small station off to the side where like they had like like the electric fly zapper.
I was gonna say, is this
paddle?
like a whipping station? Like,
Kinda, yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so
I
like
used
you
to
could
go to
do
those
that.
clubs
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, there was a few things like that went around, and it was one of like I was just there to like hang out with my friends and listen to
You're
music
just
and
here,
dance
just
and have a
here.
couple of drinks. Yeah, but there's like a bunch of weird shit going around. And he's like, all right, yep, this is where I'm at right now.
Yes, I used to go to the church. So I lived in Dallas, and there was a kind of famous goth club there called the Church. And I used to go there every Thursday night. It was goth night and this, that, and whatever, and yeah, there was always like, if you wanted to get into it, you could find somebody.
Yeah. Endless opportunity to participate.
Yes. Very politically correct way of saying that.
Yeah. We are all inclusive here at the church.
Yes. I just wanted to. I remember I used to drink like I think it was like vodka Red Bulls.
Oof.
The kind of stuff you do when you're in your 20s or whatever. But
Yeah,
it
20s.
was. Yeah. So it actually was my 20s, my late 20s. So yeah, it was vodka Red Bulls, and then I just wanted to be on the dance floor with me.
Yeah, just dancing. Stay away from me. Stay away with all this other stuff. I'm just dancing.
That was fun.
I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Been holding it in.
Now I'm
since
drinking
the second
beer
time
with edible glitter in it.
Ooh. I'm a little jealous right now, not gonna lie.
It's unicorn farts.
That's amazing.
I found some more pumpkin stashed at the grocery store the other day. Picked up some more pumpkin beer.
End of the season. End of the season.
All right.
Yeah, I made wassail.
Oh, nice.
What's that?
So it's like a mulled cider with alcohol. So I got a big old like gallon of cider. I put it in, like a slow cooker type thing, and then put a bunch of spices in it. Cinnamon sticks, obviously, nutmeg, cloves. I like sliced an apple up and then like stuck the cloves in the slices and then floated it on top, kind of thing.
You throw an orange in too?
I threw orange juice and lemon juice and some orange slices and then brandy and rum. And it was delicious. But I needed a nap today. For sure.
There's a metaphysical store up in Tucson, and they held a handful of events, like around Yule and things like that. So we went, and they had good wassail there too. The whole thing with a bonfire and the whole 9 yards. I haven't made it in a long time, but it's tasty.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. It's just not enough bonfires in my life.
I thought about doing it last night. It was really nice here yesterday, and I was like, I should fucking do a fire. The Flyers game was on, then the Twilight Zone marathon was on. Like, I'm just gonna fucking sit here.
Just gonna sit here.
Like, fires don't bring in the year, right? Like, I think I kind of fucked it up, but
there's not enough. It's really funny. I feel like I did this a whole bunch when I was younger, but there's just not enough fires in the wilderness in my life anymore. I need to fix this somehow.
I just have a pit. One of those metal.
Hey, that's perfect.
Things. I just do it in the yard now.
That's also nice.
But we have wildfires here, so.
Right? Yeah.
We're really doing fires out anywhere other than the yard.
Fair. Very fair.
Yeah. No, I remember hanging out at one of my friend's house. They had about an acre and a half of property, and they just had a big hole in the ground basically, where they dump all the debris and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, at one point they got the fire department called on them because they had like honest to God, like 30-foot tall flames just like bursting. There was a pine tree about 20 feet away, and it was almost as tall as the tree itself.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So somebody did call the police, the fire department. By the time they showed up, they had gotten it back under the control. So the flames were only about 10 feet tall. But
yeah.
But yeah, hanging out there, drinking, eating marshmallows.
I miss all that a lot. I miss going out into the middle of nowhere and burning things and drinking and hanging out.
It's a good time.
It's always a good time. It's just, I don't know, always is. I love that your shirt, John, says free hugs based off of tonight's events.
Oh yes, it's free hugs, but it's Chucky.
Oh.
I thought it was a face hugger. I couldn't see.
Oh, that would have been. Oh, that's good too.
That's a good idea.
Probably find that on.
That's gotta exist. That must exist somewhere, right?
It's got to.
It has to.
Oh my god. I love
Jesse's
not having
Googling right now.
I am.
It's awesome not having.
That looks like hogs. That's not a good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't have work either.
I do.
So that's good. Okay.
I do, but not till 10.
I was up at 4:45 this morning.
Gross.
Ugh.
Oof.
After all the fireworks and everything.
Yeah. Seriously.
Ended at 3:45.
No, I don't think they went too late. It was quiet all night. 8 o'clock, one big boom because they shoot off, fucking mortars here because it's Arizona. Scared the shit out of me because it was eerily quiet all night. Dogs weren't barking next door, nothing. So it's like 9 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I got to shave my head. I'm going to get ready to go to bed. Tell the kids I'm getting ready to go to bed. I close the door to my bedroom. Fireworks start. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Oh, God.
No.
You know what? Honestly, I didn't even think about it, but there were no fireworks last night.
You're lucky.
That is super weird for where I am. Like there's a section of the woods north of me that they call Little Maine because it's where everybody in the town and like in the surrounding areas goes to like drive their ATV, set off fireworks, shoot guns, like all that kind of stuff. And there was nothing.
Wow. Yeah, I was at the house that the cops got called on because they were blowing up fireworks in the street. It was not me. I was just there.
You were just around a bunch of weird shit.
I'm telling you, there's just stuff going on. I was just there. Like, whoopsies. Oh God. But that was early in the evening. I want to say that was like maybe 8 o'clock ish. So it was not a late night thing.
I mean, like that's fine-ish. Like I still don't get it, right? Like drink, screw, get high, whatever, like, watch the ball drop. I don't know, like just like do your thing. I was over at dinner at my parents' house. She said there was little kids out in the street screaming at 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, what the
really?
Like I get the kids don't have to go to school tomorrow because it's a holiday, but like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, who lets your kids out at midnight to scream in the streets? Like, I'm old. I get it. I know I'm old. But for fuck's sake, it's midnight. Some people have to go to work.
Oh. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I have no answers for you. I mean, my child did talk me. This is the first time ever. He's 10 now. He did talk me into letting him stay up and watching the ball drop. He was indoors. And then I put him to bed. So
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe they ask, like, can I go outside and scream? The answer is no.
The answer is almost always no.
Right. I mean, it could be no at like 7 p.m. The answer is no. You know, never scream.
Please don't go outside and scream ever.
But like even like my consternation aside, right? But like with fireworks stuff, you know, people have animals, freaks the animals out. You got vets, PTSD and shit like that. You know, people with other, trauma and shit. And you're just like, you're in fucking Mogadishu for 4 hours while people are like, hey, it's fucking New Year's.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy just came back two tours from Iraq is like under the bed with his dog and they're both fucking shaking, right? Like it's not like what I just don't get it. Like I don't get it.
I grew up around it out in the country. People were always shooting off fireworks out there, but it was like you're in the country. There's lots of space. Yeah. And then I think some of that attitude, like people who come from there, then they like move into town and then they're like, what? I do this every 4th of July.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sticks around. So oh man. But yeah, at one point I had to have a stern talking to with my son because he was standing really way too close to what they were setting off, right? Let me just say, these are not cautious people. They're just not cautious. No. I am a much more cautious person, and I was just like, listen, at least 20 feet between you and it. Okay?
Yeah.
You at 20 feet, like 4 or 5 of you at least.
Yep. I learned my lesson one time. Me, my dad, and my brother went up to New Hampshire, and you just, you go up to New Hampshire, and the first thing you do is buy fireworks because it's right there. Yeah. But we were going up to I can't remember why we were up there, but we were at my aunt's house. Nighttime comes. And we have one of those big boxes of fireworks that shoots off like a dozen things. He sets it down on the ground and lights it. And we all back up maybe 10 feet or so, right? Yeah. As you do. That's safe.
As you do.
Yep. Very first firework that goes off is one of the ones on the side. And what does it do? But the whole box then just goes, boop, it tips over onto the side.
Run.
Oh, no.
And it just starts fucking spinning, shooting fireworks everywhere.
Oh, no.
Yep. Against the siding of the house, against his van, like flying past us. Oh it was fucking awesome.
Oh, my God.
So the next one we set up, we put a brick on either side at least.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. It was.
You learn your lessons.
Yeah. My car was parked out there. I was kind of worried, There were lots of like logistics to this whole thing that I was questioning. They were doing it in the middle of the street. It was raining. There were people they like stopped traffic to do this.
Oh my God.
They stopped. I mean, it's a neighborhood street, but there ended up like 2 cars like waiting on them to
light, yeah. Oh,
God. And then one of the drivers got really bent out of shape, and he went around the other car that was in front and stopped. The one behind like went around him, was like laying on his horn, and then just like went right by as this thing is literally exploding in the middle of the street.
Oh shit.
And I was like, holy shit, he's gonna, what the
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know what's gonna happen here, but this seems bad. Yeah. At least, it was crazy. It was a little crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised if those were the people who called the cops.
Probably.
They seemed a little mad. Ooh, this is crazy.
Too funny.
Yes. Are we prepared for next game?
No.
We're going into the city. What the fuck are we doing? I still don't feel like I know what we're doing.
I guess we're going to walk into Wolfram and be like, what are you guys doing in here?
Well, that's why I wanted to lay it out, right?
That's how we roll.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to pull up the SIPSEC map of where Wolfram is. We're going to take the train over there. Where Trae and Ulla are going to have their awkward silence.
Awkward moments, yes.
Yeah. And then we're going to get to Wolfram. we're gonna. Oh no, shit! First, we have to stop at a store and buy everyone guns. Forgot about that. Everyone needs guns.
I have a gun.
I was gonna say shopping.
We all have guns. You have
close,
guns? Oh,
but-
sweet.
Yeah, Ulla gave me a rifle. I mean, I don't know how convenient
right,
it is to walk around with a rifle in the middle of town, but
Yeah, whatever.
And we'll need. I mean, I'm sure they won't let you enter the city just holding a gun. I don't know.
That's a good
Maybe
point.
there's a back way.
well, you know, I could take off the outer clothes and wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
Wrap up Ulla's
Yeah.
gun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they don't have like metal detectors or anything.
Or X-rays or anything
Right.
like that.
Or like policies on little babies in a jar.
I mean, that's a whole
So
different
many
thing.
questions how that's gonna go. Like, what the fuck are
Right?
these people
What's
gonna think?
Do you
Why
have
is
a
that baby
specific
in a
rule
jar?
against this?
Who likes it?
Well, no. It's like, well, then it's fine.
Right?
What are we gonna do with Reggie?
Ninth Amendment, bro.
What are we gonna do with Reggie? This is a serious
I don't know.
question.
I mean,
Reggie needs to give up and become a man. That's
I
what.
Yeah, I don't know. I that was an interesting little bit what was happening because you were laying heavily on the whole like, isn't this reality weak? You know, and I
maybe
remember
we
that
just
from
change it.
the conversations
Yeah.
from before, and I'm like, okay, I see. It's like, yeah, okay.
What
well,
it
maybe
do?
I'll-
What I'm. You know the whole part where Benevolence was reading auras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I imagine too, like if she saw, like she's looking at Reggie's aura, and it's like he's a little baby in a jar, but
Man-sized.
his
This is
aura
like a-
is of a man.
I can't remember to listen back to that. I can't remember the
baby
tone,
is a
John,
man.
that you had when you're like, he's a man. This is a man.
My favorite was just that like Nash was so frustrated he couldn't even get full sentences out. It was just like partial fragments, and there were like 10 of them in a row, and it was so funny. He's just like
I was
frustrating.
you guys,
and you're
'cause I didn't want to lose.
No, but that's like that was half of the whole thing. Was like, I don't get it either, guys.
I'm glad we got that out though, because for a
Like,
while
I
there,
guess-
Reggie was really like, "This is perfectly normal. I don't know what your problem is."
No, I can't do that. I don't feel right about doing that anymore. Like even as much as he's like pumping it into me, I that's why I said I don't think I'm gonna mention that in this moment right now. Because I don't know.
Oh,
Well, and again,
Ah,
I still think if it presents an issue for you in play, to bring it up to him and say, okay, you wanted us to figure out a plan before next session. How about I'm a fucking person again?
did you want to still be live?
I guess we're post show maybe. I don't know. It's fine. I'll have to edit probably. And
Oh no,
chunk this stuff
just,
out.
I got a vibe wave building, and I'm like, hey, we're still live. before the piss wave
It does-
reaches its crest. Yeah.
it does feel like Reggie is at a point where, like, I understand. So I do on a meta level, right? Understand the baby aspect, right? And why he would be in that form coming into this world, right? It like gives him a vulnerability, a new beginning, all that kind of stuff on a subconscious level, right? But I think now that it has broken into the consciousness, where he like is now on some terms aware that he's a grown adult,
I'm a man.
right?
I'm a man.
You're a man.
man.
You don't want to be a man, but you're a man.
I don't want to be a man.
You're
That's
a-
really
It's a
that was it.
man.
So, but then it was because I like the whole like, well, maybe you're concentrating on keeping yourself a baby. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to let go. And it's like, well, if he does that and he becomes a man, he's gonna have to concentrate on that and roll everyone. I was like, okay, so that's not it. Like,
I think it's whatever you want it to be.
I'm gonna that was kind
It's
of
what you want it to be.
the tone and tenor of my change my bullshit tonight was just gonna start saying shit. Didn't work out very well because I got a headache, stress headache.
Yeah, I mean, I've been making up stuff about Ulla too, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I do
Break
have a
this
background.
goddamn
already.
jar. Oh, that'll be fun actually. What if Jack gets so frustrated with all my bullshit? You know what? Smash the jar. Then I'll be
If you want to
forced
survive,
be a
you
man.
gotta be a man.
I'll be forced to grow up. We'll just reinforce that
God.
whole thing.
It's
Isn't
the
that his
toxic
life?
masculinity session.
Yeah. You can't.
That's life. That is existence, right? You are a child coddled and swaddled by
I'm a
your
baby. Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
But then there comes a moment where you have to face reality and you're tossed out into real life.
Oh Jesus!
And that
Maybe
is it.
should happen.
That is, the jar is Reggie being kept safe. But then
Yeah.
Nash smashing it is him being thrown into reality and having to deal with
my
the consequences.
Are you gonna put
We
this
should
shit
just-
on me now?
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, you already started getting frustrated tonight, right? Like, you're a man. You're a man. And
Right?
The seed has
I've
been
dealt
the
with your
seed
shit
has
for a
been
week.
planted.
Right?
Yeah. I'm sick of this talking about everything is always how it's been, and I'll just be like, "You're right. Yes, you're right." And then you just smash the jar.
I think Ulla thinks that
So many issues.
she does believe that he wished himself into this form for some reason, but her understanding was that something went wrong when you were transferring here. And so in her mind, you being in this bubble was a way to protect yourself from whatever went wrong, like the weird,
Yeah. Something went super bad.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the weird, and I woke up.
Yeah.
And that's like the last thing I remember.
She assumes that you did it to yourself, but you did it to yourself to protect yourself. Now,
Possibly,
whether or not you can then undo it.
Right. That's the
Is
be able to.
your jar the proxy for the slip ship?
I'm gonna tell you this. Part of my breakdown tonight is literally because I have no fucking idea. And he stuck the whisper in there. Whisper's been a building problem for me since she had the ability. And tonight it all just came to a head. And then and then Trae, mentioned said his thing, and that harkened back to the conversations we've had, and I just had it. my emotions it had boiled over.
They were great. You were great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was just that happened a few times in Tales of Blood and Stone, actually, with a couple of stuff too. I'm an emotional little bitch.
Feelings are good.
Yeah, no, they're you'll keep them inside. Maybe that's the metaphor, right? I'm a little baby in a jar.
Keeping all the feelings in.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Jack Nash to break the jar.
Ulla and Trae are just like walking.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Orbiting. There's this thing just hanging out in the ether. Gonna have to deal with that too, man.
Mirrored visually by the drones.
Yes.
Flying in a pattern that are
and the
apart from
nanobots
each other.
Yeah. Like his drone comes by and my nanobots just kind of like go around it.
Yeah, right. Like a flock of birds avoiding a larger bird. Yeah.
A little cloud just
right.
Oh, we have some unresolved. This is yeah.
So next session, we're walking. I say, Reg, you got to trust me. And I take the pack off and I just smash you on the ground.
And then just stare into the camera at Todd. Like, go ahead. Do you want a brains roll?
I think that might be Nash's next breaking point.
Yeah, we'll just keep poking it and see what happens. Just kidding.
Yeah. Like the next time that Reggie mentions the fact that he's a baby, like that's it.
I don't think he would, because he would be scared that something would happen to Reggie then. right? Like if in this universe he is a baby in a jar who's being sustained by the amniotic sac that is his
By
bubble.
nothing. There's no power source. There's no nothing.
It's the power of my imagination.
And literally, you would know from Ulla that this is not normal. You never see this. This is not how, so it's not like this is him in this world because people are like this.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I did overlook the whole Trae has multiple videos of multiple things. I can only change one or two of them. No, but there's other 70.
If you remember, my job was to collect data on
you. You have all of it.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know.
But did you ever download that to a cloud or whatever? Or
oh yeah, I mean, we had multiple end of session scenes where I was emailing that off to my contact. So,
what is Trae gonna do if he runs into his clutch here?
I don't know. I mean, he thinks that
they did try to kill us.
When?
Aren't they the ones that shot out the tire on the van?
No.
Way back when? No?
Mm-mm.
Oh no, that was the that was weeks ago. No, that was it was.
I think so.
I thought it was Cordoba put a hit out on us. Or not on me, but on you two. I was to be
we definitely
captured.
had that.
Okay, so this is a separate thing.
Fuck, I have to go back.
Oh my god.
I think there was a point at which
so long ago
you had been burned or something,
shit,
and they came after us.
Right after I was burnt.
I think so, yeah.
Oh god.
Shit. I think
I don't know that Nash would remember that in the moment. Like, there's so many other fucked up things going on. I don't know that that's where his head would be if we ran into them.
I have to go back and figure that out.
Well, did that coincide as when we jumped timelines? And
no, it was way before that.
Oh, before that?
Way before.
Well, is it though? Because were you ever in our original timeline in the first place?
Yeah, remember that?
As far as I'm concerned, no.
Oh boy.
So
I'm not
so that's the
clear.
thing. So Trae doesn't think he actually exists in reality. So
you've said that before.
Yeah, Ulla gets really bent out of shape when anybody starts talking about this isn't real, this isn't reality, this is dream world.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, shut the fuck up.
It's so easy.
I've been living this my whole life.
Into that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, well, this one's fake. I mean, it's so easy to just drop into that, and it's like you have to. No, this.
It's real. It's just different.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, the multiverse.
It does kind of sound like Wolfram is fucked up.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
may have to kill him.
Not intentionally though. Like if he's hitting us with the time loop thing, like. I mean,
Why
I don't
are
know.
we now in the thing?
Yeah, that's true. He did just throw that at us.
Which really fucked my plan, because when it opened,
Are you gonna go in?
Yeah, to get to wherever they were sending the shit from.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, just can't do that now, I don't think.
Maybe we go in and we're like, hey, what do we do?
I mean, I still think that's probably a viable. Although, was it the same world?
We were pointing guns at ourselves.
But was it the same? Could we tell if it was the same world?
I think so.
Was it the same
I think
world?
he said it was the same.
We were all the same.
Setup.
You were a jar. You were a baby in a jar.
So maybe. He's hitting us with the fact that it was like the other one was a replay. Are we seeing what they saw when they opened it to put the tube through? Because that's how we reacted when the tube opened, when the fracture opened up. Kind of took up positions and aimed weapons at it.
Yeah.
And that's we could be seeing a replay from the other side.
Hmm.
Which doesn't make sense, but I mean, it would make sense if we're dealing with a company that's screwed up and they put themselves into loops, you know?
Maybe so.
I get the feeling though that instead of taking us back to where it came from, it would take us back to where we were, right? Like if it's a loop to, like if it's a wormhole to where we were before, it would just take us back to where we were as opposed to like the headquarters or whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm literally like baselining it at because Ulla had the replay of when they sent the canister, and it was the exact same thing. That if a portal, if a fracture opens up, and we're seeing ourselves acting the way we did when that portal opened up, that maybe it's similar. But like I see what you're saying. Like, why wouldn't it
But
have
the
been?
canister had to come from somewhere and someone.
Yeah.
Right? Even if there was a loop in time and you were just seeing like two sides of the same loop, but somehow someone got the canister, and what we were looking at was a place that we didn't recognize. And he said it was the same location where we saw the canister, and he showed that picture, and it looked like it was like, I don't know, inside a spaceship or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a tiled hallway or something.
Yeah, it was a hallway or something. Yeah. So it wasn't. It's somewhere. It's got to be somewhere. The question is this a future time moment where we end up inside the corporation and then we end up in there and then we trigger a loop or something and we're seeing the future?
Right. He mentioned.
I mean, the problem is that it's hard for us to, and I mean it. So it all depends on because, well, I'm not gonna make any stipulations. But if we are, my estimation is that we're probably seeing our future selves and not our present, not our past selves. Because if we were seeing our past selves, then we in the past would have seen our future selves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, just going off of like how time works, right?
Yeah. I think it would make sense if it was our future selves somewhere in the city. We get into Wolfram, and that somehow they trigger it on us to try and get us to shoot ourselves by accident or something. I don't know.
Or if we're in the room where it happens, right? Like,
did we send ourselves the nanobots to help ourselves?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, that's why I wanted to figure out what they were programmed to do, because I was like, I would like to know what was the intent.
No, that was a good thought, right? Like, let's reverse engineer this shit and see what the encoded message from Trae with all the answers.
Right? Yeah, that would be wild. Yeah, I feel like we have to maybe have a very difficult conversation with Reggie before we get in the city, because we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with the baby in the jar. And if he cannot be a baby, that would be cool.
Yeah, that probably should be the end of this. The end of this madness.
It's like how?
Maybe it can be part of the. Well, that's in the city, but it can be part of the shopping scene where I come out of the dressing room in a different body each time. Is this what I look like? How about this?
Well, I wonder too, right? Like we're not real strict on like season length, but tonight was episode 7, so we didn't pre-plan for a certain number of episodes. But if we're looking at like a TV series, we've got 5 or 6 episodes maybe still in this season, potentially, not necessarily, but like potentially.
Yeah.
So we're not close to figuring things out or finishing this leg. It could be. We could end the season tomorrow. I don't know, obviously what's planned.
Yeah.
As usual, though, it's partly our fault. for just role playing every single fucking thing.
But it's fun.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's kind of our default.
No regrets or apologies.
Yeah.
Well, maybe some apologies to Todd. Sorry. Well, it's 2 days later. Well, hold on.
I feel bad for Todd sometimes because he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ever since I found out about the wheel, I just envision it whenever we go off on a thing. It's like, how many times is he looking down at the wheel like that was supposed to be like 5 minutes ago? It's happening, still happening. I've got 10 more minutes to do 20 minutes worth of shit. I feel like terrible about that.
Well, but I think though, right? Like, so because there's theoretically not a lot of prep, right? So there's a circle with the thing, need, go, whatever. When we react, right, when the psychic content comes out, like Whisper, then that becomes more about what the episode is about. So like, even if it was like, okay, you guys, need, to go to the station, like, whatever it is, and it's all about us getting to a place and like offloading the kids or whatever. It morphs from that into, okay, well, what are we doing with, Whisper becomes the key, and then the episode revolves around that then. So like the keywords stay the same, right? Because they're part of the circle. But instead of, whatever maybe the original plan was, it shifts, right? Like that's the core thing, right? Because then that resonates. So then that becomes the thing that becomes important for the episode, as opposed to like, well, they have to be in the city tonight. Well, but they don't, right? Like they don't have to be anywhere.
Yeah. It has to be responsive to the role play and to what the players are doing and what they choose to focus on. So, and you can never guess what your players are going to focus on. So,
right. And as much as we try to make it entertaining, right, because we're recording and we're streaming and it's a whole podcast or whatever, it also has to be fun for us, right? So the things that we enjoy and take pleasure in, then those are the things that sort of guide what happens. And people either like that or they don't.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. And we're
typically
just
you
keep
enjoy
doing it
more when people are having fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, right.
So, but yeah. All right, guys. It's 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, holy crap! It is.
I have to get up in like 4.5 hours.
Oh, geez.
Nah.
Okay, so to wrap it up, Ulla and Trae gonna have to resolve these issues.
We have unresolved issues. Trae is
on.
completely oblivious to.
Some crazy like drone and nanobot combat or something to resolve the issues. And then Jack's going to get frustrated and smash the baby jar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Jesse, I have a plan. I know what's going to happen because it's Ulla and Trae. They're actually not going to talk until they're in combat. And then mid-combat, they're going to talk.
Everything's
perfect.
Down.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like an anime combat, or like anime travel where they're just, we're just having this like conversation, normal voices, and just shit is just flying around. Oh. God.
We're back to back at each other, shooting the 5 people surround us, and then Ulla just leans over and is like, "I can't believe you just walked away."
Yes.
Oh yes. Now we just have to figure out how to make that work in core frames.
And then
in this frame.
Okay. And then we have Reggie.
I'll be dead. I'm just gonna put you down here, Reg. Yeah.
The one thing that we don't want is like, as Nash gets super pissed, like breaking point, throws the jar on the ground, and then Todd is like, "Okay, make a health roll." And like,
yeah,
no!
That's all right.
He actually has a baby.
Fine.
Just flopping around like a goldfish out of water.
Oh my god! So dark, so dark.
So dark, the con of Nash.
Why is he doing that?
Oh.
Why isn't he a person again? What's
Why
happening?
are you mad?
I thought that was gonna work.
Man, be a man, Reggie. Be a man.
Oh no! And Nash just goes further down the emotional abyss.
All right.
Oh God. So we're gonna make him cry next game. Got it.
Yep. That's the goal.
We're just gonna go around.
Yep.
We all.
Right. Oh, Leslie, next session, me and you trade places.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be next on the wheel.
John and I have already had our crying. Well, I've had my crying moment already twice.
Oh.
I mean, I think Ulla got pretty emotional when she was talking with Trae because her perception of it was kind of like, here are two people who feel very alienated by everything because of their experiences, and they're kind of like tentatively finding each other as like a support family, whatever
Absolutely.
friendship, and
Beautiful.
and so she was pretty emotional about it, but I mean, of course, broken emotionally, but,
I just fucking walked away.
Yeah, it's just a complete like. If you could have one reaction, that would be wrong. And Trae did it.
Listen, it's like the classic too.
Perfect.
It's just
Oh,
like
perfect. Yeah.
All right.
oblivious.
Oh.
And we're just so used to it.
Yeah, right. It doesn't even register,
That's straight.
Well, and she kind of was like, okay, it was overwhelming. Like, he'll talk to me later.
Nope.
Yeah.
Did not.
It's gonna be good.
Amazing.
Good stuff.
All right. I could talk to you guys like literally
All right,
all
yes.
night.
Yeah.
So issues.
We're gonna bring all of them
Yep.
back in the middle of combat.
It
Right.
has to be. Oh God, it has
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right. I love you guys.
All right.
to be. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Have a good
Thanks for
night.
playing.
Good
See you
night.
Good night.
Later.
Later.
I would stay and hang out, but I have to piss like
Oh, no.
5 gallons, and I have to get up in a couple hours.
Yeah, I have to go wallow in my shame. And,
No shame.
it
No
was good.
shame.
It was good.
You were not naked walking through the streets.
Not yet.
You were dressed in your own place.
Yeah.
You were dressed.
Not even my own
With-
place. That's the.
Well, no, you were dressed indoors
Yes,
with nobody
I was.
chanting, throwing rotten fruit at you.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Oh
All right,
shit!
good
That's
night,
probably on this
guys.
too, right? Mm.
Ah, yeah,
Thank you
probably.
very much.